You're just like
starting soon. Who wants to? No. Listen, it's go time. Starting soon. Who wants
to it?
We are here. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome on in. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to the Chaotic Codpast. I am joined by Bella.
Hey.
Dakota.
Hey.
Tony.
Me.
Hi.
I never know what side the motion on the camera.
For me, you're bottom right. Tony's just beneath me, and Dakota's on my right.
So
this is fair.
I don't know, whatever. Anyway, this is kind of a sequel of sorts because the last episode we did was Marvel Cinematic Universe phases 1 and 2. This is phase 3. The big one.
It is a big one.
This one includes Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man Far From Home. I almost said No Way Home.
Almost.
But we will also briefly kind of touch on the net. Do what?
Just a few tiny movies.
Just a little bit. But we will also briefly touch on the Netflix TV shows that started coming out in 2015, which are the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, and Punisher. So they're kind of included. They're not cemented to phases. They're just kind of inside the MCU without being in the MCU. It's weird, but yeah. And like last week, we're not having notes. We don't have a list of anything like I usually do, which I'm honestly probably just going to do away with that entirely. We're just going to do freeform. Because last time seemed to work extremely well.
Yeah, it did indeed.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the top and just work our way down through the movies and just kind of talk about our thoughts. And the first one, oh boy, it's a big one. Captain America Civil War.
Massive.
Just
massive.
Oh man.
So we'll talk about our initial thoughts of the movie as it was coming out and then when we saw it. This movie had a lot riding on it because Civil War is one of the most popular comic book storylines in Marvel. Obviously the movie strayed a lot from what the comic was, but the movie we got for the cinematic universe, I think it worked really well.
It did.
But the biggest surprise was the intro of a certain web slinger. And the introduction of the third iteration of Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
Oh my! It was so. I remember, like when Spider-Man first came on the screen, I was so happy.
Now, are you talking about in the trailer or in the movie? Because that was in the teaser trailer. So,
was it really? I mean, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't see any of the trailers?
No, probably.
Oh,
not.
you were so lucky. So for those who did see the trailers, when you first saw okay, so this is the movie we're getting. And then, all right, I've had enough. On the roast. Hey, everyone. What was your thought?
I freaked out, but was slightly disappointed that they went with a new person for Spider-Man. I was really hoping they'd bring back Garfield.
That was something. I don't remember too many people saying that back then.
I mean, a lot of people wanted him to get, like justification from, well, not justification, but, like redemption from Spider-Man 2. And plus, just wanted him to have a third movie, just because he's only had 2. They wanted him to have more, but...
That thing.
Clearly, everyone wanted it to be Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Toby!
Nope. We'll talk about him in phase 4.
I like the way you're thinking, Tony.
But I remember the internet just blew up. Like, the second he showed up on screen, like, it was just like, holy shit, we got Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. we got Spider-Man alongside Iron Man and Captain America. What? And not only that, we also got the introduction to T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace.
Wasn't that right? Yeah.
Black Panther.
Yeah, that was one of the main things. But no, it was,
That- So yeah, as far as the movie itself overall, what were your thoughts?
It is arguably the best movie of the trilogy. Like, it's really hard for me to pick which one's better, either Winter Soldier or Civil War. But it's also really hard to remember that it's just a Captain America movie, because it feels like an Avenger movie because of the inclusion of everyone else.
I mean, it basically was an Avengers movie. Let's not beat around the bush at the Avengers. It was definitely something. I remember, all of the trailers that had come out. I remember dragging all my friends here to it. Well, they wanted to go too, but we went to opening night.
So then, does that count as dragging them to the movie if they wanted to go anyway?
I know.
Yeah.
It was just. It was
Depends on
funny.
how fast they were walking. If they weren't walking fast enough, then you could start to drag.
Let's go.
He is very tall. Sometimes you'd have to just strap on skates and just hang on.
And one of the things that I really liked about Civil War, and it doesn't get a lot of credit, is its opening scene. I actually like its opening scene a lot. Because
What?
that's where it starts to really put the emphasis on,
The guilt
divide.
of Sokovia.
that. And oh man, it's been a hot minute since I've watched it, but there was the other incident that happened during that mission, because they barely get done with that mission, if I remember right, just thanks to
They finished the mission,
but there was a lot of collateral, wasn't there?
Yeah, Wanda blowing up that building with innocents
Yep.
inside the building. It was completely on accident, but
Oh yeah, she was still trying to get a hold of her powers.
she tried to get a hold of Crossbones, who I believe had detonated a bomb. Because fun fact, I haven't seen these movies in a long time myself, so I'm just going off of base memory, which sounds really bad for a podcast host, but when it comes to these movies, they do get embedded in my head.
Which is weird because
the blast of the bomb is what it was, and it just kind of went sideways.
Yeah.
Into a building, literally.
Yeah, that thing. But Tony, what about you?
I just honestly, this was the first. Well, okay, so there were other movies in Marvel before this that made me feel like the world was so big, but this one, for some reason in particular, really made me be like, whoa, okay, time out. This world is massive. We have Spider-Man now. It just this movie blew my mind when I first saw it, because there's so many different layers, because it's okay, we have Black Panther now, we have Spider-Man. It's what this world is mad. What is happening? I can't keep up.
For me, the interesting thing about this movie was, Zemo was in it, and he played a factor in it, but it felt like there was no real villain. It was literally just the Avengers against themselves.
You could argue that Tony Stark was the villain.
In a way, yeah, because
you wouldn't have a very good argument, but you could argue that it was Tony Stark. But I think
the main villain was Ross.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's pretty much whoever was responsible for trying to come up with the Accords.
But here's one thing about Civil War in the MCU and Ross. Whose fault was the Incredible Hulk? The incident in the movie.
I didn't see it.
Spoiler alert, it was Ross.
Yeah.
He's the one who created the Abomination. He's the one who was hell-bent on getting Bruce so he can get the Hulk powers. So everything that happened in The Incredible Hulk was Ross's fault. The attack on Harlem, all that, like, it was all Ross's fault. And now he's over here saying, y'all gotta be roped in.
Fuck you.
Like, what?
Also hydrate. Because I said
hydration.
Ma'am, I am in the middle of talking. Don't.
Hydration's good for you.
No, it's not. It's bad
all
for
the
you.
more reason for you to hydrate.
It's bad for you.
Yeah.
It's bad for you.
Good for this song.
So I guess the biggest question is, Team Cap or Team Tony?
That is a complicated question for me because I went into the movie gunning for Cap, but then he made very stupid decisions.
He did. He did.
It was really hard to root for him towards the end of it.
And in the end,
She's talking about.
but at the end, you can't help but feel bad for Bucky.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I felt bad for Tony and Bucky because they were the ones in the middle of the shit.
it was all, yeah. But I was Team Cap. You know, one, I've never liked Iron Man to begin with, so I love Robert Downey's performance, obviously, but just the character himself, never been a fan. Plus, Cap had Scarlet Witch on his team, so
Not biased at all.
no, I'm biased.
Yeah, the whole
I'm
thing,
biased.
you know,
I'm not going to deny it.
No, I said going back, you know, coming off of Winter Soldier, and you know the culmination of that, they were talking about keeping everybody in check and this and that. Cap and them literally just like, I don't remember what the time frame was in this, but after that, you know, the good guys were literally being infiltrated by Hydra the whole time. So like, you want to make sure that you do keep yourself contained, but at the same time, like, you can't have someone else pulling the strings that could be potentially corrupted.
That's a fair point.
That's a really good point.
What is the timeline between the two Captain America movies anyway? Because I know we have enough time to go and get the twins, but like how...
I want to say... Also, I think the twins... No, the twins was in Winter Soldier. Never mind.
Yeah,
they
that was
like 30 seconds. I think.
Soldier.
Trying to look up the timeline right now.
That's hard-hitting questions.
Because I don't know how long like in world was in between the two Captain Americas.
Couldn't have been too long.
I want to say about maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
couldn't have
so
been
he
too-
had
That makes sense.
to slightly adjust.
Because you have to think, after Winter Soldier, you know, there was the Avengers, and they've been working for a little bit. And then there is the gap between, I think the big question is, what was the gap between Age of Ultron and Civil War? Which I don't imagine was too much of a time gap.
Yeah, I don't think it was a very long, like you said, like a long gap, because I got the sense that Wanda was still trying to rein in her abilities.
So,
Yeah, and like I said, it all boils down to, like, you know, everything that happened with Ultron too. But another psychological element here you gotta take into account is Tony was mainly responsible with, you know, Banner and them getting Ultron up and running, whereas I remember Cap and them really weren't too for that idea. So that's a whole other thing for the piece of it.
yeah, and it almost feels like Tony's wanting out of the Avengers just in general. With Age of Ultron and then this. You know, we got to be in check. All right, translation. I don't want to do anything. But do you really want the government to be in charge of a superhero team like the Avengers?
Because it's such a stark contrast. Because Tony, we were all talking about Iron Man 1 and, you know, Iron Man 2 last time. Tony was like, I'm going to do my own thing. Y'all aren't going to stop me, I'm Iron Man, I do what I want.
Then he
To
saw
an extent.
aliens and he was like,
I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm tired.
You mean things from space are here? All right, I need friends.
It's that Simpsons meme. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Oh man, I just remember that movie giving birth to the meme that didn't die that year.
Which one?
Missing Report.
Mission Report,
All
December
over the
16,
internet.
1991.
So many memes of that.
Yeah. But can we just talk about how awesome that final fight was? Because you know, not just the situation going on there. That fight was building since Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, those two have always been butting heads. So this clash was not just Tony wanting revenge for Bucky killing his parents. Spoilers, by the way. For those who haven't seen any of these movies.
I mean, they
came-
kind of give that away in Cap 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's 2016. I think you're safe for the most part.
Trix hasn't seen him, so.
I was about to say, except for Shrix.
Yeah.
But, like, the fight was fantastic. Like, the whole movie was fantastic. I
Do you
loved
like
it.
the final fight more or the airport fight?
Final
'Cause
fight.
I like both. Okay. Because
The airport fight was fun, but there was too much going on to kind of pinpoint, like, a favorite bit. Like there was just a lot going on.
No, it's not too hard. My favorite bit was between Hawkeye and Black Widow.
We're still friends, right? Depends on how hard you hit me.
Yeah.
I might have preferred the airport fight, honestly.
I did. Wait. My favorite bit was Spider-Man and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You couldn't have done that sooner. I hate
The
you.
poor look on Bucky's face when, like, this...
You have a metal arm? That's awesome!
Yeah.
But
You're a child. You are a little baby. Why are you here?
how are you stopping my metal? What? Okay. And there's something funny you mentioned up about Hawkeye in this fight. There's something that is said in this fight that I'll bring up. You know what? I'm going to bring it up now because I'll forget.
Okay.
It's between it's between Black Panther and Hawkeye. I don't think we met. My name's Hawkeye. I don't care.
Yeah.
In Endgame, they're trying to get the gauntlet away from Thanos, and Black Panther's like, Clint, give it to me. So it's that feeling of it's been, we'll say, 6 years since, maybe longer.
Yeah.
This was after he had been snapped as well.
Which also, that brings up a point. I wonder how much time passed for those people when they were snapped.
I always thought it was like instantaneous for them, but it's
I mean, not to jump ahead, but it's implied that it is.
Yeah. So it's like time just stopped for them when they were snapped. But that's 10 movies away.
Just all the way to the end.
Well, I only brought it up because of the Hawkeye and Black Panther thing, because I will forget, because I'm just forgetful because we talk about so many other things. But yeah, Civil War, fantastic film, solid start to Phase 3. Definitely sets the bar for shit.
It also gave us a lot too, right? Because it gives us Black Panther, it gives us Spider-Man, and both end up being major characters.
They were fan favorites.
Forward.
Yeah,
and fan favorites. So
Definitely.
I just remember Black Panther, the chase scene.
Yeah,
that's a
basically,
good one
Black
too.
Panther. That was so good.
Still, as stupid as it was practically, the helicopter shot is still one of my favorite cinematics. As dumb as that is, but
when he's trying to stop the helicopter from going, and he's hanging on to the helipad, just holding both. It's like,
it just looks so cool though.
But
so you're like, oh, he's gonna do it, and he didn't do it.
and then there's the whole like Tony having the Iron Man like tools just whenever he needs it, like in the watch when they're fighting Bucky and the agency, which was really cool. Seeing T'Challa, Stark, and Natasha team up against Bucky.
Yeah, that was
just a little fun. Just a little fun bit when he.
Something else I always, just because of the way the movie went, and they made a joke about it in Infinity War. You know, what if Banner and Thor were there? Like, what would have happened there? They made the joke in the movie. He was like, "Oh, we had a fight, or you got, or whatever."
That wasn't in Infinity War.
They would have been on.
I could have sworn
Infinity War, wasn't it?
No, that was in.
It was in Infinity War because he was like, "What do you mean we broke up?" We had a fight."
that. What? Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder what sides they would have been on.
Thor would have been on Cap's side in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bruce would have been. No, Bruce would have 100% been on Tony's side because.
Bruce would have definitely been on Tony's side.
Like, the Hulk needs to be contained. So he would have 100% been on that. So.
Just cool little things. Like, you know, that would have shifted those battles just a little bit more.
Bear, what's up, buddy? Welcome on in. How are you? So happy to see you.
Might be a weird question, but for Civil War, where everyone was fighting, other than I guess Vision, were human, right?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so there were no, because like, if you had Thor is a literal god.
Yeah,
So
everybody was human. Wanda and I guess Spider-Man are technically enhanced people, but that's the same as
Bucky's a super soldier, and so is Cap.
Yeah.
And I guess T'Challa is too, in a kind of way, because of the.
He's more of a super powered person. So yeah, I guess Tony and Clint
and
Natasha
or the odd people out like they always are.
I'm on the fence about counting Tony because he's pretty much
got the suit.
In a can, yeah.
Yeah, he's in a. And Wanda is considered a mutant in the comics, but in the movies, she's a lab experiment.
In the movies, yeah.
But
they're enhanced, Nate. They're called enhanced.
I'm reading the chat, Dakota. God.
I know, but
so one thing we haven't actually touched on for Civil War yet is the quote-unquote actual main villain, and that's supposed to be Baron Zemo.
No.
Who didn't really do a whole lot, but...
It's interesting that they managed to bring him back for all three of those movies.
He wasn't in all three movies. You're thinking Arnim Zola.
I am. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And Z's.
Yeah, Z's. Now, he did come back in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which that's a Phase 4 topic. But...
Well, you know, when it all boils down, you know, people forget sometimes that his plan was to actually wake up like an army of Buckies. So, I mean, that could have caused problems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, his ultimate goal was to destroy the Avengers, and he essentially did.
Yeah.
So
you could say that.
But yeah, just really good movie. Obviously, you know, Marvel hasn't really had any bad movies up until this point. One could argue Thor: The Dark World, but meh. Next movie is Doctor Strange. Which, oh boy. Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch. We finally get Sherlock himself. From the BBC standpoint, obviously. Which I think is funny. Like, the first movie featured Martin Freeman as Ross. the next entry featured Benedict as Doctor Strange.
It is funny that
It's just a random.
Oh, Primals.
Robert Downey Jr. also played Sherlock.
Yeah, but I was talking about the BBC TV show. I'm being I'm being stupid. Just
the MCU had 2 Sherlocks in it,
and we didn't get the joke.
No joke.
They didn't make the joke.
I
know it would have been too easy, but it would have been hilarious to see that.
I would have laughed.
It would have been the best, but everyone was waiting on it. But when it didn't happen, just. And the person who should have said it should have been Star-Lord. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Oh, that would have been good.
He might. I don't know.
Like, the man has a, 8th grade education?
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So, Doctor Strange.
Hey, it is one of my low-key favorite ones, just because I'm a sucker for the origin movies. Oh, man.
I really enjoyed Doctor Strange.
Visually, it was trippy as hell.
It was.
I enjoyed
But it was something...
the movie, but not the character.
Not the character? He had a whole arc, Bella.
I don't like Doctor Strange for the same reason I didn't like pre-arc Tony Stark. He's arrogant. Too cocky. Like, does it work for him? Yeah, sure. He made his main villain rage quit, but...
I mean, he got humbled really quick.
That scene is... It's so great. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Like, I remember sitting in the theater like, are they gonna fight?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna Dean Winchester his way out of this.
Man. It was,
I remember there's a lot of kind of heat on the movie because they cast Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. Which in the comics, you know, the Ancient One is an older Asian gentleman. And this one, you know, it's not that, but, you know.
I don't remember too many people, but.
I remember seeing a good chunk of it, but I loved it.
Big stink.
I thought they were fantastic. Like, Tilda is an amazing actor. Hold on, let me look some up so I don't mess something up.
Amazing as the Ancient One, personally.
Well, plus I liked that it introduced the whole concept of like the alternate plane or whatever, which they used some eventually, but you know, it was really cool. It's like, hey, we can do stuff here and it's not going to impact the real world to an extent. So, you know, I forget what the technical term for that world is called.
Like mirror plane?
Okay, so
mirror dimension, maybe.
Yeah, the mirror dimension.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure Tilda wasn't like non-binary. I didn't want to mislabel. So she does go by she and her. And if I'm wrong looking at this, then I apologize. I just want to make sure. So, yeah. It's just something I wanted to just be extra careful about because I don't want to upset anybody. So, but yeah, Tilda Swinton did an amazing job. What's his name? Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo. Which, wow. Loved him as that character. And Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius, a name that took me forever to figure out how to say, even after seeing the movies.
You're forgetting about the other most important character in the movie.
Rachel McAdams? No, Wong. BD Wong is Wong.
Yeah, good old Wong.
Wong was great.
Oh, Wong. He's essentially the new Nick Fury in the MCU now.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But
there was another character that I thought was very important.
The Cape?
It's the cape, yeah. It was the cape.
Cape.
The cape is its own character.
That's true.
The cape had personality, let me tell you.
Definitely.
I think Matt's in. Yeah, that would have been interesting too. If Mads had played Baron and Chiwetel played Caecilius, I think that would have been interesting too.
Be good. Also, introduce the good old sling rings, the instant transmission of the MCU.
Yeah, that thing.
That they never use right in fights.
You just want them to sever an arm.
Yes.
I mean, we got that.
Can't stop Thanos. Watch this. Bye, Thanos.
I mean,
Why they didn't go with that is beyond me, but you know what?
Hey, we'll get to it, but there were many ways that Thanos could have been taken out that they just weren't brave enough to do on screen.
yeah, that thing.
I am so stupid. I'm so dumb, guys. The actor's name is Chiwetel Ejiofor. Chiwetel Ejiofor. I feel so bad for missaying his name. But yeah, he was fantastic as Mordo. But
Also, really looking forward to when they bring him back.
oh yeah, I mean we kind of got him in Multiverse of Madness, but that's a whole. That could be a topic all on its own.
Really could be.
But yeah, to me the movie, like, it was good, but it wasn't as big, as like impactful as the others.
Yeah, it was an
It introduced Doctor Strange and the concept of the mirror dimension and sorcery in the MCU. But it wasn't anything, like, oh my god, this is like the greatest thing ever. It was just, yeah, that was a good movie.
And it was a good cool down movie too, coming out of Civil War,
Yeah.
you can't go super crazy.
Yeah, and it's like Dakota said, it was an origin story, so you were
Mhm.
setting up who Doctor Strange was, how he got to be where he was, and you're also locating the Time Stone, which is pretty important.
Mm-hmm. And then the mid-credit scene, no, the post-credit scenes leads into Thor Ragnarok, because it's just a scene from Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, the drinking. He was like, fill it back up.
Yeah.
Or whatever, yeah.
But yeah, pretty good movie. Mordo gets mad at the way things are going. He's like, yeah, I want none of this, and he leaves, setting up his return as the arch nemesis to Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Well, arch nemesis, the rival-ish.
I'm excited for that.
So next movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Boy, this was
Had the same effect on me. It didn't
Guardians
have.
of the Galaxy isn't one of my favorite of the MCUs. Like, it was fun.
Yeah.
I loved Guardians Volume 2, personally.
I loved the payoff of finally getting the little answer to the end of the first Guardians movie. It's like, oh, you used that without getting vaporized instantly.
Oh, now we
It's
know
like,
why.
you
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Am I wrong for not seeing any of the Guardians movies? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No one is obligated to see anything. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. There should be no shame in anything.
Which is really something, because the star power they put in Volume 2 alone, like for an MCU movie, a lot of star power from
It-
the
A lot of cameos. We got Sylvester Stallone. We got Michelle Yeoh. We got Kurt Russell as the bad guy.
Russell's in it. It's then your regular Guardians cast alone, they're pretty high up now, so
Mm.
Not the biggest fan of the
it
Guardian
was
movies.
a fun one.
That's plenty fine. Like, you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like, and that is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
And for anyone who tries to tell you wrong, they're wrong. But
Yeah, if you say you're wrong, you're wrong. It's never ending. You're wrong. It's like, well,
and you're wrong for that.
then I'm wrong.
But yeah, you know, it gave us Mantis.
Yep.
It kind of brought in Nebula as a quote unquote member of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nice to see her kind of turn to the good side. But I'm also biased because
I was about to say, there's bias here because of Karen. I know that because I'm the same way. But the thing that they keep doing, and it's just been a running theme. First off, I love James Gunn and what he does with the Guardian movies. I hate that Drax is the comedic relief. When in the comics, he is this just brutal badass. And
I feel like he's comic relief because he's Dave Bautista, though. Because
which he has gone on record to say he does not like.
Okay.
He has gone on record to say he does not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't like it.
That's one of the reasons why, is because, and I haven't seen the fourth Thor movie still, but everything that people were saying about how all the comedy was kind of beaten into the ground in the fourth Thor is pretty much why I'm just kind of meh with Guardians. It's like, yeah, it's funny, but
for Guardians, it matches the tone that was established in the first, like, just that kind of group together. There's going to be banter. It's going to be fun. But
I think more of the issue, not to jump ahead, like the Thor was Nate, you remember how dumb it was, the stupid goats or whatever? Like, oh, it was cool, and then Guardians has a different flavor of humor.
For Guardians, it works. For Thor, it doesn't.
I thought you were about to say the goats had a different flavor, and I was like,
the goats do have a mildly different flavor, but we're not talking about cooking right now.
I still want one of your burgers, bitch.
I got you.
Yay.
But
into cooking now.
But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you know, it's another one of those, yeah, it's there. It carries things on a little bit, but it's not bad. It's by no means a bad movie.
I guess I might be in the minority in like our group here, but I love this movie.
And that's perfectly fine. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
What was it about the movie that you liked so much?
Yes.
I enjoyed the furthering of the on-screen relationship of Yondu and Peter.
Yondu was the best part of the movie. The storyline with Yondu was the best part of the movie.
The Yondu storyline, like, brings me to tears.
I feel bad for not mentioning that because I forgot all about that.
I honestly cried.
Like, he has the best line in that movie.
He does have the best line.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
Your daddy. Yeah.
I may have failed you a lot in this life, but I'm sure glad you were my boy.
Yeah. That
part of that
scene,
second part might not have been right, but it's just pretty same concept of what he said.
Pretty much.
That scene alone to this day hits me so hard.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about that scene is it comes out of nowhere.
Just.
And like the whole movie, you know, Peter's trying to find his family. He's reunited with his dad, and then, you know, shit goes down.
Dad turns out to be an asshole.
Yeah, that thing. Dad turns out to be, you know, whatever he was. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
And then Yondu comes in and makes the save. And then basically says, I'm glad you were my son. Just like, oh. And really hits home, you know, family is not about blood.
No, yeah. And it was really cool the parallels they made too between Rocket and Yondu throughout the movie.
Not to jump ahead, but I have a hot take when you guys get to the end of phase 3. Go ahead and drop it. We'll talk about it when we get there. I'm curious. Because we're jumping ahead. We're bouncing back and forth a lot too, so just go ahead.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah. We're trying to avoid Phase 4, and it's working about as well as avoiding Phase 3 was last time.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
That's what I love about my
it's
podcast is
we go all over it.
we try to make it laid back. You know, it's not a set structure. And if we get off topic, there's no, we need to get back on topic, guys. It's one of those, let the conversation flow.
How do we ever stay on topic?
Because
I don't think that's necessarily a hot take.
I don't
mean,
think
you
that's a
could
hot
argue.
take. It's arguably it is, because Endgame, while it was amazing, does feel like a fan servicey film.
Yeah.
You could argue either of those movies, and I'd be like, okay, cool. That's you do you, because they're both really good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm as much as I love Endgame, like the whole time travel thing just seems real.
I liked it. The way they handled it, I thought it was really good. But
good. I think for me, and we haven't even got. I'll save that for later. When we actually get to that, back to Guardians for a second. It actually did, pave the way for this post-credit scene that we're still waiting on, and I think we're going to get payoff for that in May. Is that when the third movie comes out?
Are you talking about when Stan Lee talking with the Watchers?
No, I'm talking about we shall call him Adam Warlock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Adam Warlock's definitely in Guardians 3.
That post-credit scene that
the actor is not who I would have chosen, but, it could be good. Will Poulter?
Oh.
Because when they did that scene, I was like, oh, they're going to throw this in somewhere along the way, and here we are still waiting.
Infinity War broke my spirit for a whole year. That was the point, and I loved it.
Oh, man. I remember Nate and I were going back and forth because the directors were like, that ending was real. We didn't troll you all. So I was like, oh.
Yeah. Wait, for Infinity War or?
Yeah, for Infinity War. And they were like, because remember the shock everyone had. They're like, nope, that was the real ending.
Yeah. But we'll really dive into Infinity War and Endgame when we get there. But first, I think we can all agree, Guardians, not a bad movie, really good. Tony liked it a lot. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Was the best part.
Do what?
Yondu was the best part.
Yondu was the best part.
Without a doubt, Yondu was so great.
Oh, one more thing about Guardians of the Galaxy that I loved. When Yondu was talking to the other Ravagers or the different groups, you will never, have the send-off when you die, blah, blah, blah. I forgot exactly how they worded it.
Yeah.
And yet, he got that very send-off.
Oh, that scene, that scene, too, also brought me to tears, I think.
Oh, yeah, I cried.
Because it was, I think they called it, like, a Ravager funeral.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man.
Peter Holland.
That Yondu storyline gets me every time we talk about it.
But can we talk about I Am Groot?
I love Groot. Groot's so great. Look at the little guy.
The exchange between Baby Groot and Rocket and the bomb is...
Yes!
I am Groot.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a button that'll blow us off!
I am Groot.
Try it again. I am Groot. Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
No!
Yep.
Peter Holland? What?
Peter Holland?
You
can combine their names. That's his alter ego, Peter Holland.
I mean, he might be right, because let's see something.
I mean, British people only have like 5 names.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
He might be right. Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, Tom Holland, first solo film.
Nate just
wanted to quadruple check because he's paranoid. Spider-Man Homecoming.
You've been misnaming the actor for 8 years now. It's fine.
I'm dumb.
Oh no.
I shouldn't even be here. Anyway.
As much as I wanted Toby, when you were like, all right, we're gonna do Spider-Man, we're gonna get the movie, and This was probably one of the most fun times I had watching a movie was this because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a fun little movie. It got Spider-Man back into the MCU, and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Well, you never watched it, did you?
It had that flavor of like local neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton as Vulture.
Oh, I loved it. That was good.
I really enjoyed
Just
Mhm.
fun fact, I saw something earlier. John Leguizamo was supposed to play him.
Really?
Oh no!
I'm glad they went the direction they did.
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton was a little bit of a better choice.
I love John Leguizamo.
I like him, but I picture Sid the Sloth, and I don't think Sid the Sloth would be a good Spider-Man villain.
I picture the clown
From Spawn.
Mhm.
And one of mine and Bella's friends' favorite comedians.
Oh yeah.
But an interesting take on MJ, by the way.
I think she did a
Yes.
really good job.
I love Zendaya. I
In the movie
love
that-
Zendaya.
I think I enjoy her take on MJ more than definitely more than any of the other ones.
Well, first off, we didn't get MJ and The Amazing Spider-Man. We got Gwen Stacy, which was a fantastic change of pace.
Oh, you're right.
Kristen,
But compared to
Kirsten Dunst does not hold up. She does not hold up. I'm
She did
sorry.
well, for
The time.
Yeah, she did well for her time.
She is definitely a product of the time.
Yep.
But
Well,
Zendaya,
We're gonna.
MJ
I
more.
just think the whole
You're not asking the right question here for
The
this
whole
Spider-Man
original-
movie.
well then ask the right question, please.
I will ask the right question. Why does Aunt May keep getting younger?
Why is Aunt May hot?
She's getting younger. Tomei's in her 60s.
The one you go from Toby's movie.
When you look at the movies, the actresses are getting younger.
There's a very different level between the one from the Toby series versus Marissa Tomei.
and they can't say it's because he's younger in high school. Toby was in high school.
Toby didn't look like he was in high school either, though.
He did look like he was
I could look
35.
at his Aunt May and I could look at him and be like, yeah, she looks like she'd be his aunt. Because this man looks like he was in his 30s.
Let me put it this way: when I think of Aunt May, I think of the animated series Aunt May. So I think of the Aunt May we got from Toby's movies.
Okay, that's fair.
Marissa is 58 years old. She is 58 years old. You don't look it, ma'am.
Old.
What was it, old? Yeah, that was.
I feel for her the same way I do for the woman that plays Tiffany Valentine in the Chucky movies. Like, you're not that old. I refuse to believe.
Right?
Yeah, she looks much younger to me. But
And there was also a casting that up until now feels wasted
yes.
because he's not going to end up playing a character that everyone wants him to play.
I'm trying to think of what you're about to say.
Donald Glover.
Oh.
He plays Miles's uncle, who ends up being the Prowler. Everyone's wanting him to play Miles Morales, but unless they completely change characters, which I wouldn't put it past them, not saying that's bad, but
I would think Donald would be better at playing Miles' uncle than he would at playing Miles, because Miles is supposed to be younger than
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I think he's a little bit aged out for that for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe in like a decade or so ago you could have done it. Maybe.
The kid. I don't know the actor's name.
Beginning of Community.
I don't
then-
know the actor's name
Yeah.
or the character's name, but the black kid from Stranger Things. I think he'd be fantastic for Miles.
Even he might be a little bit too old, but also Miles is Afro-Hispanic.
So, but Yeah, it was really good. And we also had Robert Downey Jr. in it as Tony Stark, as the mentor. And oh boy, I have a hard time watching that scene when he just rips into Peter. Like, just I feel Peter's failure in that scene, and just hearing Tony just rip into him, just like, it stings me to watch. It's a good scene. It's a fantastic scene, but it's hard to watch.
Is it after the ship thing?
Yeah,
or
when he's like, I just wanted to be you, and I wanted you to be better.
Yeah. No, one of my favorites from that, and he was like, "You're not even here right now," and
and then Pop's suit opens up. Surprise, kid. But you see how that failure comes full circle in Infinity War? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
no, because they've, as long as they do it, like, I don't know how long Tom wants to be in there, but like he
wants to be on for as long as they want him for.
They've set up a perfect transition for his character arc to where he could, take over the leadership roles as they're getting the younger team together now.
We'll see.
Because I saw a point that someone made relatively recently that they set him up to be in a very bad place. Like, he's got a symbiote after him. He's lost.
I can't wait to see that.
Like, support system. No one knows who he is, so he could very easily go dark side.
Which we're supposed to, I think.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely do something with that, probably.
I'm looking up a few of the actors' names for something, and some of the characters' names. But one of my gripes about this movie, I do have a kind of a little gripe about it, is their choice for Flash. Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
The bully who ends up being one of the iterations of Venom. Not really what I like. It's interesting. It's a change, but I don't really care for it.
How did they get to play him? Because again, haven't seen it.
Some new kid around the time that the movie came out. He hasn't been in a lot of things, but
I honestly don't recognize.
Revelori? I don't know how to say his name. Tony something.
Hydrate and posture check.
Revelori or something like that. But there's one thing that the movie did set up that a lot of people don't really think about or are unaware of. Vulture was the main villain, but there were two others in there.
And there was other ones.
There was two others in there. There was, let's see here. Bokeem Woodbine played Herman Schultz. Shocker.
Yeah, Shocker was in there for.
Right. Yes.
And then in the mid-credit scene, where's he at? No, not him.
Who was in that one?
If this thing will work for me, I'd appreciate it. Not what I wanted.
I mean, you're also on a computer.
No, I'm on my phone.
See, that's what I was wondering, Bear, is if it's setting up for the Sinister Six, or that's what...
That's what I was leading up to, because the other character, I'll find it. But the guy who will eventually become Scorpion was in it.
So all we need is Rhino, Green Goblin, and a few others?
Yeah.
Trying to remember who all's on the Sinister Six.
It varies depending on storylines.
Fair.
A lot of people were hoping we'd get the Sinister Six in No Way Home.
We almost did, basically.
We practically did. We just missed one. Where's he at?
It was, like I said, I had fun with that movie. And, as long as Sony's willing to share the bag of the Spider-Man.
Oh, they've apparently secured that deal, so
yeah.
Which, yay, because Mac.
I thought Doc Ock was on there, but I couldn't be sure.
Yeah, Doc Ock is the main one. I want to be like weird and copycat. I want them to go with the lineup from the game. With Matt Gagan. Yep, that's him. Okay. Michael Mando. And you know who should play crap, what's his name? The main villain from Spider-Man, the game. Steven Yeun. Who plays Glenn in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
But yeah, you know, like Spider-Man Homecoming, we've been just running on about this, blah, blah, blah. Negative. Whatever his name is. The negative guy.
I was too busy laughing because I forgot that the PSA was the second post-credit scene.
Oh my god, the biggest troll to fans. Oh, did you see that?
Right. I forgot about that.
So for those who don't know what we're talking about, most, like all the MCU movies up till this point, the post-credit scene usually sets up for something leading on down the road. Throughout Spider-Man Homecoming, you know, there was a lot of videos of Captain America, you know, kind of giving educational speeches to kids, and they watched them in class. The post-credit scene for Spider-Man Homecoming was a blank white screen. Cap walks in with a chair, sits on it backwards, and says, "I see you sitting there being patient," or something like that. And just trolling the entire audience. And seeing that premiere night.
Oh, trolly Marvel.
There was so many people just going, what the fuck? Man, I gotta pee and I waited for that.
Welcome in, Reese.
Reese, welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. Sarazawa, ooh. I fear he might have been too old, but it could be good.
Ooh, Fire Emblem, nice.
Ooh, nice. How'd that go?
Ooh, Fire Emblem.
So happy to have you join us. Welcome on in. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, really good film. Good action, good acting. Like, acting's fantastic. I felt bad for the main girl, Liz, who ended up being Vulture's daughter. So that was a fun little dynamic.
Saw what now?
With so many booba ladies. Very nice. But the next movie. By the way, final thoughts so far?
Spider-Man? I probably should watch Spider-Man.
We're having a movie night. We're having a movie day one of these days. Okay. Next movie. Thor Ragnarok.
I like
some excellent stuff.
Oh, to go back to Civil War, Cat movie or Avengers movie? I think universally we kind of agree it's mainly an event.
Yeah, it was pretty goofy.
But
it's like Avengers 2.5.
At the same time, when you look at the story, obviously it mainly follows Cap.
But yeah,
it feels like the Avengers thing is like secondary because it is about Cap trying to redeem Bucky.
Mm-hmm. It's a Bucky movie.
Yeah,
it's a Bucky movie.
Captain Bucky,
the Bucky movie,
which is going to touch base with some of my thoughts whenever we get to Endgame.
Oh, just wait! I can't wait. I can't wait to get to that. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
I agree. Bear Project, probably the best Thor movie.
Yeah.
Out of the four,
my favorite.
I seem disappointed in it, and there's a lot of stuff that I am, but overall, it's just an overall better Thor movie than what we've gotten in the past, and I like the Thor movies up until this point.
Fortunately, that's not really saying much because we have the origin story, which always suffers from origin story. It's a lot of setup. It's getting people introduced to the character, so it's hit or miss. Dark World is universally disliked by most of the Marvel fans. I don't know why. It was not bad, or at least not as bad as they were saying. So
to me,
to have the essential 180 as far as environment go from Dark World to Ragnarok,
I think it's less environment and more comedic tone. Unless that's what you were going for, and just...
That's the word I was looking for, and I couldn't think of the word tone, so I was like, fuck it, environment, it works.
Yeah. I mean, it has a little bit of the comedic in it to a point, and then what I liked about Ragnarok...
Go ahead.
What's the best thing? What I liked about Ragnarok is there were actual consequences to stuff going on, which is always good to see in a movie, you know, like...
Fair, not wrong.
Well, yeah, it's not like, you know, Dragon Ball. Oh, we'll get the Dragon Balls and undo this, you know. They were kind of stuck with...
I thought you were about to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution. I was about to ban you.
Yeah.
Why was I getting into Dragon Ball Evolution?
We're talking about live action. We're talking about movies, and you started talking about Dragon Ball. It's like, where is this going?
You saw where it went, so it was not that.
God. Tony, what about you?
Okay, I'll be honest, I laughed out loud so many times during this movie. Like, I love the Guardians movies, but there were just some, like, moments in this movie that, like, I laughed probably as loud as I've ever laughed. I'm curious to hear what you say is the best scene, because there was one scene...
Oh, no, the scene I was talking about is in Dark World.
Okay. So there's a scene in this movie where Bruce, like, I forget, it's in a plane.
The helicarrier?
One of the ships. Yes. He jumps out and is like, all right, let's Hulk up and land, and he just smacks his face, like, basically on the pavement.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. I forgot that happened.
It's that I die every time I see that. It's so good.
But no, the first off, the best part in Thor: The Dark World is when they walk into the apartment and Thor hangs his hammer up on the coat rack.
Yeah.
That wasn't scripted. That wasn't scripted.
I mean, I feel like, to me, one of the best parts is just the sheer panic that it's going to induce in future generations between Tessa Thompson and Tom Hiddleston being in it.
Oh, yeah. I've got mixed feelings about Ragnarok. On one hand, I agree that, you know, it is the best Thor movie. While that's not saying a lot, you know, that's facts. However, switching up the tone of the character, while it is the best thing they could have done for the character.
Hi, Battle.
Combining three major comic storylines into one movie was a bit much. Because Thor Ragnarok features, obviously, the Ragnarok story. It features the Planet Hulk's elements, and I believe there's a few elements to World War Hulk. I might be wrong about that one, but the other two, definitely. And both Ragnarok and Planet Hulk deserve to be their own movies, yet they're combined into one, and it just... Yeah.
Well, they can't do too much with Hulk movies, so...
But the acting was fantastic. Like, it was a much welcome change of pace for how Thor's been. You know, we get an amazing fight between Thor and Hulk. Like, that fight in the arena was just fantastic.
It's a good one.
It was. That also reminds me of another moment where I laughed very loudly.
And most importantly, we get Jeff Goldblum. We get Jeff Goldblum.
The crazy character in this movie.
Him as the Grandmaster was just hilarious, and I loved him.
Jeff even acting anymore, or is he just?
No, he's just Jeff Goldblum.
No, he's just being Jeff Goldblum.
Okay,
he's just being Jeff.
Because I've seen him act the exact same way in interviews, and I was like, "Is this just Jeff?"
Where what we said about The Rock playing just him in movies nowadays, in a negative aspect, Jeff playing Jeff in all of his movies, it's the best.
Thanks for the raid, Reese. Enjoy your food.
Yes, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Go take care of whatever you got to do. Enjoy your food.
So the fight scene reminds me another time where I laughed out loud. Where Thor gets really excited to see Hulk, and he's like, "He's a friend from work."
Did you hear? You know the backstory behind that line?
Yes, it makes me cry.
I don't know if I did.
What was it? A Make-A-Wish?
Make-A-Wish.
Yeah,
kid.
it was a Make-A-Wish kid was on set that day, and he just like gave the idea to use that as a line, and they loved it.
They kept it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That makes me like it even more now.
Also,
Yeah.
Thor totally won that fight. Thor won that fight.
Yeah.
If the Grandmaster
I still think my favorite thing from that was Loki's reaction.
I gotta get off this planet. I gotta get off this planet. I gotta get off this planet. Hey, what are you doing? Sit down. Enjoy the show.
Loki just flashing back.
But
Thor's just reaction to seeing Loki there going from just pure happiness to anger.
yeah. But we get Clancy Brown as Surtur. We get Kate Winslet as Hela.
No, wrong
No.
Kate.
No, it was Blanchett. It was Blanchett. It was Blanchett. I give up. I'm done.
That would have been an interesting.
I cannot believe I just got that name wrong. Why did I do that?
Remember what we said in the first one? You know, that alternate reality MCU. You're living in that reality, aren't you?
Now I'm living in denial of my own existence.
That's in the in the Tom Cruise, Tony Stark.
I hate my life right now.
He just insulted me twice. Cause you can. How did you?
Wait, how did I insult you?
She plays Galadriel.
Yeah. Wait, how's that an insult though?
Like what?
I'm saying she's an amazing actress.
Because you got her wrong.
You're not. Yeah. I hate everything that is happening right now. I hate all that is happening right now.
The spicy bean for penance.
I do. I will.
Yes, there. Wouldn't that have been something? Rose from the Titanic is Hela.
That would have changed the character completely. Because I don't know if Kate Winslet can be ruthless enough.
Would have changed the character.
Oh, that's hot. Hi.
Kate Winslet can be ruthless enough because there was enough room in that door for.
Oh.
I mean, fair.
Man.
Which bean did you get, Nate?
Habanero.
Oof. Spicy.
I'm just gonna sit here, y'all. Podcast is over. Y'all just keep talking. I'm gonna say the wrong names again.
Hey, we'll just roast you. All right.
The bean's doing that for you.
It was.
Can we agree that one of the best lines in the movie is Carl Urban just going, "Behold my stuff."
Okay. Thor Ragnarok is a waste of Carl Urban.
I mean, he's only in it for like 5 minutes, so I'd have to agree with you.
Like everything
I can't
that
take
man
him
has
seriously because all I see is Butcher.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, that thing.
Thor series has a bad tendency of wasting people.
Thor 1 did a good job. Thor 2 wasted Chris Eccleston.
He's also slightly biased. It's his favorite doctor.
Shh, don't call me out on that.
Hey, he's a good doctor.
You could say he's fantastic.
No, I agree with that too, Bear. But Anthony Hopkins' portrayal as the death scene for Odin, that one really you could feel that in that one.
Yeah, that one was.
That even got Loki moved, so you know it was a.
So, y'all remember, the play that they put on at the beginning of the movie?
I was just gonna bring this up.
You know who those actors were? We had Sam Neill as Odin. We had Matt Damon as Loki,
Yeah.
and I believe Luke Hemsworth.
It was the other Hemsworth brother.
No,
I want to
was
say it was
Liam?
Luke. No, Liam is the other famous one.
No, the other.
No, it's the third one.
Luke, I think.
Man.
And they're back in Love and Thunder, but I really don't want to talk about that movie, but I'm going to have to next month.
I forgot they did that little play too. He was like,
What
what
is
is this?
that one?
Bella, I'm going to tell you this right now. You know who played the Hela in their play musical in Love and Thunder? Melissa McCarthy.
I was about to say, is it Kate Winslet?
No, it's not Kate Winslet. I
Why
hate
was there another play?
because Taika Waititi just likes to ruin shit.
Is it better or worse than Rogers the Musical?
I'd rather watch Rogers the Musical. Okay, only two things I love about from Lord Love and Thunder. I loved Natalie Portman in that movie.
I was about to say, is it Natalie Portman's arms? Because same.
Natalie Portman Natalie Portman carried that movie for me. I thought she was fantastic. But anyway,
No, it was good there.
Ragnarok, it was as a movie, it was pretty good.
But what's the scene? It was in Ragnarok, right? Where when they went to Strange, he made him fall in the hole infinitely. Or
I've
whatever.
been falling for 30 minutes. Which that was the post-credit scene from Doctor Strange. Just acted it a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doctor Strange cameo, good. Anthony Hopkins pretty much cameo, good. But let's say the name so I don't get it wrong again.
Kate Blanchett.
Thank you.
Not Kate Winslet.
It's Kate Winslet.
Okay.
As Hera. I will say it feels like I hated the throwaway of the Warriors 3.
If you say Kate Beckinsale, I will roast you twice as hard.
I know for a fact it's not Beckinsale. She is from.
No, but go ahead.
Just movie was good. Definitely set up Infinity War.
Definitely did. I was gonna say one of the other things that I really liked about that movie, just to get to the serious tone they did, up until this point, Thor's hammer's been a staple, and Hela's first thing, catch, break. I mean,
yeah,
that's an entrance and a half.
But
man.
What's the other thing I was going to talk about?
Mommy, sorry.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson. Actually, yeah. Like I loved her. I loved Tessa as Valkyrie. Yes. And then when she finally gets her outfit and just starts just cutting people down, I'm like,
"Yep,
you're gonna turn a lot of girls lesbian, and that's okay."
And the other thing of that is for the ending of it too. I'm trying to remember it right. They don't actually win that fight.
They really don't.
No.
They had to bring Ragnarok just to stop Hela.
Yeah, he said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm out.
You can't beat me. I know.
But he can.
And then Clancy Brown just bursts out of the temple and just says, "Yeah, yeet." Just slams sword down. Just
fuck this shit. I'm out.
Something that I thought was interesting. I always pictured that as a whole separate planet, but no, it's basically a meteor.
Yeah. Now, Dakota, you mentioned serious tone. In this movie, it feels like we see that Thor's practically given up on his brother. Practically given up on you're never gonna change. I'm never gonna have my brother back. So after this, it'd be best if we just battle. Have a good night, buddy. And
it was, I don't know, because the the way they set that up and then the post credit for it, I got goosebumps.
Oh,
when
yeah.
that aired
Oh,
in
yeah.
the theater.
But the whole, at the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. We can't change that. We can't fix that. It's probably best if we never see each other after this. And you can see heartbreak in his face after Thor says that. Like,
Yeah, considering
okay.
the next time we see them on screen together, what happens?
Yeah, that thing.
Something that I do really like Tom's portrayal as Loki is that yes, he's a fucking little shit, but you can still tell that he does care about his brother sometimes. It's deep in there, but he does grow to care for Thor, and
I think it's less grow to care and more, in some ways, he's always cared for Thor. But, stuff
They
happens.
sprinkled a little stuff in there, like Dark World had little sprinkles of it.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just...
well, no, because like one of the things that's pretty interesting, we were talking about dwarven ages earlier and how Dane was a child when he fought in war, but Loki is 16. By Asgardian standards, Loki is a teenager. So, thinking about all of his little shitness makes
Mild
sense.
counterpoint, Loki's not Asgardian.
Well, that's fair.
He is a Jotun.
Frost. He's a frost giant. Damn
He
it.
just grew up on Asgard.
True. I'm gonna have to look up the ages for Jotunheim.
But yeah. Final thoughts about Thor Ragnarok? We got Korg, one of the borderline most annoying characters in the series.
Oh,
I don't want to play Get Help.
Hey, let's do Good Help. What?
I love you. I'm not gonna play Get Help.
Yeah, yeet.
Nope. Don't toss me.
Thor told the elf, not a word. Oh, sorry, wrong movies.
is this the movie? So was Thor Ragnarok the one where they had the strongest Avenger bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the ship.
Okay, okay. That's something that was also very funny and worth noting then, because strongest
Avenger.
Thor, God of Thunder, Lord of Thunder. Damn it, Stark. Point Break. Welcome, Thor. God damn it. And then Bruce comes in, strongest Avenger. Like, what? Another thing we didn't talk about this movie. Hulk, somewhat, not sentient, but, he's able to, hold conversations in Hulk form now.
I think someone explained that as because he'd been Hulk for so long.
Yeah.
The character of Hulk aged a bit, so now he's somewhat like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but wasn't he like Hulk for like 2 years straight or something here?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. Good movie.
For Bruce.
Do what?
Must have been a wonderful nap for Bruce.
Oh, I'm sure.
If I could sleep for 2 years and someone took over,
Right?
like on autopilot. Ooh.
Nap.
Oh, this is nice. Why does my body hurt? But so far phase 3, pretty good lineup.
Oh yeah.
The next movie, Black Panther.
Ooh.
I can almost hear my mom screaming in the other room. Figuratively. Nate and I have different opinions on this. I absolutely love the movie. He thought it was okay.
I also loved Black Panther.
I loved it. I love the cast. I love the movie. Something about it just, I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I do like it.
It's good, and as Bear just said, I think Killmonger is the perfect way to write a villain.
Oh, Killmonger was the best villain in the MCU up until this point.
I think,
Like, Killmonger is
my favorite villain.
easily top 3, maybe top 2.
It's like the way they layer in, his story for it. There were points in that movie I was like, you know what, Killmonger, you give them what they deserve.
Like, there were points where I'm like, if Killmonger wins, am I upset?
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I love so much about his characters, like, up to certain points. Like, he did cross the line a couple of times, like, when he killed his girlfriend and, like, all of that. But, like, he was right on so many of his points.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really, really hard to hate him.
I didn't hate him. I don't hate him.
I don't either.
He was justified in a lot of his actions. It's just his way of going about it wasn't necessarily the right way to. But in his intentions and, everything else, like, he's justified 100%.
Bear, how did you relate to him, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah.
Well, it's always a treat when we get to see.
And I hate to cut you off, but before I lose the thought, the reason Killmonger was so good was because of Michael B. Jordan.
I was going to say this is one of like 2 roles, like for me personally, that Michael B. Jordan was in that I fell in love with Michael B. Jordan as an actor.
Oh yeah.
Was the other one Creed?
Yes.
My man.
That's a good one, too.
Oh, you don't like him as the Human Torch?
Well, you look at the time. I guess we gotta wrap it up.
Oh, Andy Serkis's claw. Always a
Oh,
pleasure to see
fair.
that too.
Yes. So this is not related to what we're talking about right now, but I do enjoy a little factoid of, hey, if you get cast as the Human Torch, it's gonna suck, but you're gonna be someone really cool in the MCU next.
You got a point.
You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And yes, I just quoted that movie. Get off me.
You'll get to be Captain America or Killmonger. So not bad.
I mean, 50-50?
Yeah, those are both great roles.
Bear, I'm so sorry, my guy. I hate to hear that. I really do.
Oh.
Well, what does that mean, Tony, for the actual Human Torch they're gonna cast in the MCU?
I want them to bring back either Chris with no explanation or bring Michael back.
Neither will happen.
Probably not, but still.
I thought Chris said he would do it just for laughs because he would be playing a different character, not Captain.
Well, he wouldn't be playing a different character because he's already done it once. That's why I want him to.
You know what I mean? In
no
the MCU portion of it. Like that. Anything's possible. I could say, Cap? Who?
Dakota, you were going to say something before I so rudely interrupted you.
Oh, no. You're fine. I was just saying it's always a pleasure to see Andy Serkis's claw because I love his MCU portrayal.
Well, it's also just Andy Serkis. Anytime he's involved in anything, it's going to be a joy. Like, Andy Serkis is just so good. Because
by this point, he has flipped around in 2 or 3 movies because he was in Ultron.
He was in Ultron, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
Because they've had him in a couple.
It was just movies. In those 2, I think.
I thought he was in a 3rd one. Maybe not.
Definitely in Ultron and Black Panther.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he was in a 3rd one as well.
Andy, what all were you in, buddy?
I thought he was, but maybe I'm going crazy too.
If I could spell, that'd be wonderful.
It's not spelt like Circus the event.
I know.
It looks like it was only the 2 from what I can tell.
Okay.
We must be living in Bizarro World because I swear he was in another one.
Well, he's in so many movies. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, those castings aside, we got everyone else. We got people whose names I can't seem to remember off the top of my head because I'm a derp. We got the Queen. We got Shuri. We got Latita Wright. No, that was Shuri.
We had Angela Bassett in it.
Angela Bassett. Thank you. I am forgetful. I am bad.
And then,
I am bad person.
PETA.
Whoever. Oh Lord, I can't think of her name. It wasn't the.
Hey,
I
Nate.
always want to call her.
Wasn't Walking
Danielle.
Dead chick in there too?
Yeah,
Or am I
yeah.
going crazy? Yeah.
I can't think
Yeah.
of her first name.
It's
I
like-
would call her
It's like
Danielle.
Danai or something.
Yeah, Deny.
Deny.
Yeah. So I forgot she was
Lupita
in it, too.
Nyong'o as Nakia. We got Denai Guerrera as Okoye. Daniel Kaluuya as Wakabi. But especially in Wakanda Forever, everyone's favorite Jabari tribe leader, Winston Duke as M'Baku.
M'Baku!
Just like, I've always loved his character.
I love M'Baku.
Oh yeah, always good.
Forrest Whitaker as Zuri. Yeah, we had Sterling K. Brown in it as T'Challa's brother. T'Chaka's brother. Okay, again, we're jumping ahead again, but Winston Duke as M'Baku. The best line from Wakanda Forever. You bolted the demon. Just so blank. Just so blank out of nowhere.
Wasn't that ad-libbed as well?
I think it was. Just, I love him. I love him. It's a really good movie. I hate on it. I don't even hate on it. That's the wrong phrasing. I always felt the movie to be overrated, but it is a really good movie. And honestly, it is the best MCU film since, like, in Phase 3 besides Civil War. Because, Guardians felt just generic. Doctor Strange felt just kind of generic. Spider-Man was good, but it still kind of had that generic kind of tone to it compared to the others.
I think Black Panther is my favorite of the origin films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it even count as an origin movie? Because he is already Black Panther established in this movie.
I mean,
It's just the first solo film.
As the first, I guess Tom Holland Spider-Man would count as an origin film. Because it
I
does.
consider it an origin film. At least
Yeah.
me personally.
It does give us the origin of the Black Panther. It gives us a little bit of the lore behind it, and it tells us a little bit of the story for people who, like me, didn't read the Black Panther comic.
Okay, well, in that aspect, yeah.
I think that's less an origin and more of an intro, which I know that might be the same thing, but
To me, I would argue they're the same thing, but it's all personal preference.
yeah, overall, fantastic movie. I know there's a lot of gripes about the final fight CGI being a bit off. I personally don't remember
Black
that.
Panther? People said that? I don't remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
at all.
yeah. People were saying that the movie was rushed at the end, and that's why the final fight looks so CGI bad. It's like, what?
I thought the fight was fine.
Black Panther brought people together. It was like a movement during the time of the world and what was going on. Black Panther felt like a breath of fresh air, but that could be just me. I mean, you're not wrong.
It's not just you. It definitely felt groundbreaking, which is something strange to say, and at least for me personally, it felt groundbreaking because it's finally bringing in representation that should have always been there in the MCU, in my opinion.
Not just MCU, but comic book, not just comic books, but movies in general. I think definitely, especially comic books. It is the first Black-led cast since Blade.
Yeah,
and the last Blade movie came out in 2003. So here we are in 2018.
And that's something that definitely should have been done well before then. So it's definitely not just you. It did feel like a breath of fresh air that was very much needed in the MCU.
And it was
And
handled and received very well, much to everyone's, satisfaction.
yeah, I'm very glad with the way that it was done. Because it could have gone so bad.
The
And
reason it made $1 billion for an origin movie, if you want to call
didn't
it
they
that.
go out of their way to go to different tribes and try to incorporate actual culture into the film?
Yes. I
think
want
they
to
did.
say they did. I
I know
wanna
they
say
did that for
the
Wakanda
costume
Forever.
department
I
I wanna
know
say
they
the
did that for
costume
Wakanda.
department did a lot of research. They went to a bunch of different places, like you said, spoke to a bunch of different people, and tried to incorporate as much of that into culturally accurate costumes as possible.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to do this movie right.
So yeah, solid, out of the park home run, just fantastic movie.
This is also like a movie that's very interesting to like look at with hindsight too, because it's like anytime I see Chadwick Boseman now, like from any of his anything he's been in, I do get a little emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely.
Because it also just makes you appreciate him so much.
Yeah.
You know?
The fact that in all of these movies, I believe in that movie in particular, he was really fighting. And just
not heard anything negative about Chadwick ever.
Mm-hmm.
Every person that has ever said anything about him has always talked about how good he was, how genuine he was, how funny, how kind. Just
no one knew he was fighting cancer until
no.
Until like
just yeah.
I think most people found out when he passed away. Honestly,
Yeah.
that he had
I remember. I was just leaving the gym, and one of my friends messages me a link. Tell me this isn't true. When he huh?
I remember being just like fucking. It felt like being hit by a truck because
I was so shell shocked.
Yeah. Because, like you said, none of us, he was not public about it at all. So when it happens, like, it would just felt fucking out of nowhere.
See, and he filmed, like, quite a few of these movies, I think.
Definitely the last three.
Yeah, because he got up until What If was the last thing he got to do?
Yeah.
What If was the last thing.
And I'm gonna jump ahead right now. Wakanda Forever handled that so beautifully. The way the movie handled that was so well done. Like, the movie was the perfect tribute to Chadwick. So I will forever give that movie props for how they went about that.
Not off of that, but Black Panther was placed in a weird spot in the MCU, echelon going on, because it did lead into Infinity War.
It did.
I was always curious how that was going to work, and I was like, oh, okay.
Which brings me to Avengers Infinity War.
Before we to Infinity War, can we all just agree, and I hate to kind of point it out, T'Challa lost that fight.
In Black Panther?
Yeah.
Well, he definitely lost the first one.
Like he would not have made that had he not been helped by like 3 different other people.
Oh no, Killmonger was the victor.
Yeah.
My only regret is they did kill off Killmonger. So there's no way to bring him back in the future unless through the multiverse. Because I'd love to see Michael B. Jordan in the future. I love Michael B. Jordan. He's a fantastic actor, and he nailed that role.
Oh yeah.
It was so good. It I know we're about to move on, but like him as Killmonger might be one of my favorite portrayals in the MCU.
Oh, absolutely.
Just
It's definitely the
out of
best
any
villain.
character, like, to me.
Because that's
He's,
one
like,
of the things that
probably-
the MCU has suffered with for the most part is the villains have always been kind of eh.
Two-dimensional,
Yes.
just like
Like Killmonger
Evil.
is the first real villain to really have depth.
There was only, like, to me, there's only been, like, probably, like, 3 villains, maybe, that I'm like, you have depth to, cool.
Like,
yeah, I'm sure if I thought about it, I could probably think of good villains, but like when you compare someone like Ego to
Yeah.
Killmonger, it's just like
you
there's
can't.
really no comparison.
You can't.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they
Ego
made
just
it all go.
really falls flat, which is sad because Kurt Russell's such a good actor.
And that's not saying he was bad in the movie by no means. Like
no,
we
his
didn't even
character was just
like.
Michael B. Jordan was just that good, though. So
I can't even think of anything else that comes that close in MCU terms.
In terms
I'd
of
have to really
villains,
sit- I'd really have to sit down and think about something that had that much depth.
we'd have to rewatch a lot of the movies.
go-
Hell, you can argue Bucky for Cap too, but
that's what I was. That's the only one I could think of. It's him and
Yeah.
Loki.
yeah.
Because going through my head, the
Yes.
first Iron Man,
no.
Obadiah Stane,
Nope.
Greed. Next, the Incredible Hulk.
Lust for power.
It's kind of a combination between Ross and Abomination. You know, again, quest, like you said, quest for power. Generic. Next, Iron Man 2. Whiplash wanted revenge because he claimed that Tony stole his dad's ideas. Still kind of generic. And the military wanting Tony's tech. Generic.
Whiplash's motivations are a little bit better than at least Obadiah's were.
It is, but
Not by much.
Not by
but
much.
It's a little better. And I think
carry on.
I was gonna say, and I think it's a lot better than the villain from Cap 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thor, you know, it was Loki, which Loki is one of the better villains. Cap, Red Skull, really well done, but still, you know, he wants to control the world. That's all there is to it.
I feel like
Yeah, Red Skull didn't really have a. I mean, he had a good story, but it wasn't like a Killmonger story.
I don't know. I don't think he had that great of a story. I just think that Hugo is that great of an actor.
Yeah.
Also, I think the character is so iconic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that holds a lot of weight.
Because it is arguably a pretty generic, like,
Yeah.
desire. I want to control the world. Like,
Okay, what for?
else, bud.
To conquer the world. Okay, why? Okay.
I want to be worshipped as a god. Okay, but whatever. But like you said, because the character himself is such an iconic character and so intricate to Captain America, like, he is a little bit better.
And then you can just go down the list, you know, it's all the same thing, you know. Avengers, Loki, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3 is
Flip Loki again.
the Mandarin. Just world domination,
even-
big deal.
Even in the newer stuff, like I don't think they can top it with anything that's come out or is going to come out.
From what I
honestly.
hear, the one that I'm seeing next Thursday will. But that's because Jonathan Myers is the next Thanos level threat. Talking about Kang.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I was
but
gonna
like
say,
the
which
story.
one- What the fuck is coming out?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Quantumania.
Right. Yes.
And I'm seeing
I'm
it
waiting
next
for
Thursday.
Galactus, honestly.
Waiting for what?
Galactus. Because I know he's going to make an appearance eventually.
Or that'll be hard to do.
Not necessarily. We'll see. But yeah, everything else is just
uh,
generic in terms of the villains. So
Worst
Cute.
case, just throw out the big giant cloud again.
I will fight whoever is in charge of that. I will do combat. I will do Mortal Kombat and send them to the Shadow Realm.
Oh man, I forgot that was a thing until Noah said Galactus. It was like, oh yeah, the big cloud that was just.
But yeah, Killmonger is definitely one of the best villains in the MCU, past and present. So it's going to be hard to top to him. The only one who could even remotely come close is probably the next guy, Thanos.
Yeah, that's to me is the only one that comes close.
Infinity War. Everything from Iron Man to Black Panther has been leading up to this. We're finally here. And oh man, what a roller coaster.
That's a really good point, Bear.
Oh, my all-time favorite movie. Thanos made his point.
So I can't really.
Body Loki almost killed
I'm bad at movies.
Story stakes based.
I mean, he made his point clear. He did do that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh yeah, like.
Only in this case, it's not one hero getting beat. It's the entire lineup.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Yeah.
But
It's all your fault, Quill.
we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, there's so much in this movie to talk about.
I don't even know if we want to talk about, like our first thought of seeing the trailer. Like, let's just... That is a question. When you first saw the first trailer for the movie, leading up to the movie itself, what was your anticipation level? What was your hype for it? Obviously, seeing everyone come together, seeing all these different heroes from different, like the Guardians teaming up with Iron Man and Thor, blah blah blah. Seeing Tony Stark and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, all these different groups together.
I can't.
I was like 10 out of 10. So.
I was cautious about it because it had seemed like a very big
Undertaking.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed like there was going to be a lot that they were going to try and do, and I was concerned about that many big names
In a single
going
movie.
through, having come through MCU the past 10 years, all of them are huge stars now. How are we going to give everyone enough screen time to justify it?
And it worked.
2 movies, that's how.
Yeah,
No,
because
it was-
Infinity War and Endgame are 2 parts of the same film. They are considered one film. But I think breaking it up the way they did was perfect. But we'll talk about that one in a little bit. Right now, we're on Infinity War.
I don't even know, man. That was like, I did go to an opening night for that, and the theater was popping. Those, oh man,
Dude, I can't wait to talk about Endgame when we get there. But
we'll get there.
I like Bear's point. They were talking about how, like, at the end of it, when Thanos is just done and he sits down and he's just like, well,
I'm content.
everyone just leaves like, well, fuck, now what? And how we had
But,
to wait a year.
Oh man, how they were going to make us wait that long. But somebody said it earlier. Was it Bear that said it? How that movie opened. Thor and
it set the par
Hulk,
for what they were in for because
they're by no means weak Avengers. And it's
like, even without the gauntlet, without the Infinity Stones, he decimated that group, like that ship, those Asgardians. He obliterated Hulk.
And I don't remember
in a fist fight.
That is another point to get there. How serious Thanos was. The other villains, they kind of did their thing, whatever. But what was I don't remember the exact line, but when he has Loki, he's like, "No more illusions, no more tricks, or whatever." And just
no, I don't think he said that with Loki. He said something like that with Doctor Strange.
No, he said that with Loki.
What he said with Loki was pretending to pledge loyalty to him, and he was like, "I pledge my undying loyalty to you." And then he went to kill him. Thanos stopped him and said, "Undying." You should choose your words more carefully. Then he grabbed him by his neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't say a
That's
word.
what it was.
Didn't speak once.
Oh,
Just
man.
held him. Loki said, "You will never be a god." Snaps neck, looks down at Thor, and just drops him.
Mm-hmm.
This part of the movie made you be like, "Oh no!"
Like it's where you said, what? Just
Which I mean,
what just
we were
happened?
talking about the build-up from Dark World to Ragnarok, and for all intents and purposes, that is the end of that Loki storyline. Because obviously, the
is.
one that is now is different. But
yeah, but
I think a lot of us were shocked that that happened in the first 10 minutes of the movie. But I think also a lot of us were like, nah, he's not really dead.
and it's
'Cause
like,
we-
oh no, he's no, oh.
Loki, no more resurrection. Okay, maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
I dressed up as Cap for the movie. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Cap had the best look in this movie. I'm just
With or
saying.
without the beard, though.
Cap had the best look in this movie, though.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
But just all
Because there was so much going on.
you had. Let's see. You had Thor being found by the Guardians of the Galaxy. Then he and Rocket and Groot go off to say hi to Peter Dinklage
Yep.
and build Stormbreaker. The rest of the Guardians try to go find the rest of the stones. End up running into Tony, Strange, and Spidey. You have Cap, Bucky, Falcon, Black Widow teaming up with Bruce,
Wanda.
and then going and Wanda and Vision, meeting up with Black Panther and Okoye and Wakanda. It's like you have all these different groups, and they're all trying to take on one guy, and in the end, they all fail.
well, it's not even just Thanos at first. Thanos doesn't even get to Earth until a little bit later because we have to go through his
Hunt of the Stones.
Stuff on Titan and all of
No,
that.
not even just him finding the stone.
Were they called like the children of Thanos or something?
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Or...
Well, yeah, his henchmen.
Yeah.
Who themselves put up like hard fights.
I forget their names.
Like any number of them would have been the main bad guy in one of the standalone films for any of these.
They're
other-
like-
And we got 5 of them.
yeah, we have to
Paul-
go through these
What was
motherfuckers.
his name?
before we
Paul
get
or something?
Thanos.
Crawl or something? Maul, Paul, something.
I take it the Maul's been killed.
Maul, yeah.
This day,
That-
this day exacts a heavy toll. Josh
Yeah.
Brolin as Thanos had some of the
absolutely.
greatest lines.
So good.
Which led to just one of my favorite Deadpool 2 lines.
Oh, I forget he does Cable too.
Yep.
No, but that's one of my favorite lines in Infinity War too, and it's so silly because what was it? Sorry, Earth's closed today.
Oh yeah. Children of Thanos. We had Cull Obsidian, Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, and Corvus Glaive.
I'll never forget they called him Squidward.
Squid.
But
Listen here, Squidward.
it means get lost, Squidward. Bella, I have to ask you specifically.
Uh,
You have voiced in the past multiple times your dislike for 2 particular characters because of their egos. When those 2 characters met up and spent half this movie together, what was that like for you?
By that point in Tony Stark, he had gone through character development to the point that I was rooting for him. He is no longer the same Tony Stark from Iron Man 1 when he was the douchey, arrogant, rich kid. He had gone through massive amounts of trauma, suffering man still had PTSD from seeing the aliens the first fucking time, having to go through all of that in Iron Man 3, and then essentially becoming a dad to Peter Parker. By the time he finally gets to Infinity War, Tony Stark has become a character that I can actually like and root for. The writing for Doctor Strange in Infinity War was a lot better than the writing for Doctor Strange in his first movie, because now that he is Sorcerer Supreme and realizes, oh, there's some shit out there, he has also been humbled to the point where he's like, I have to take care of other things, not just myself.
Not just other things, the entire universe. And he makes a point to mention that in this movie. In one of my favorite exchanges between him and Tony after Tony and Peter save him from the mall. And he's like, if it comes between you or the kid and protecting the rest of this universe, I will not hesitate for a second, because the lives of two are worth sacrificing to save the lives of billions and trillions. But that particular exchange is like Tony's, like you mentioned, the PTSD from Avengers. Like, he can't get Thanos out of his head, and now it's finally here. Just that exchange to me was just excellent.
I also think that he's still slightly plagued by the vision that he sees in Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pile of bodies, all of the aliens. He's finally seeing, oh shit, this might still actually happen. I have to do something.
Yeah.
Which I think fuels his actions some when we get to Endgame.
Yeah. Which I'm going to throw this out there right now. Tony had the best fight against Thanos. Iron Man had the best fight against Thanos.
The best fight with the best line.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Are you in Endgame? Yes, I would.
Oh, I was talking about Infinity War.
Infinity War.
I don't remember this fight in Infinity War, but if we're talking about the final battle, I have to go with Cap and Thor.
Yeah,
I was saying Infinity War. You don't remember telling all that for a drop of blood or whatever he said?
Yeah.
Oh, that. Okay, I thought you meant the fight in Endgame.
When he threw a planet at him. That's right.
Yes. Okay, now.
If you throw another planet at me, I'm going to be really upset.
That's right.
But, like, this movie had all the action. You know, Thor had hands down the best entrance for any hero ever. When he came down to Wakanda after getting Stormbreaker, bring me Thanos.
Dude, it was.
And the scene where I touched on this in the last one. Thor and Cap's friendship is my favorite thing in the MCU. Because in every Avengers movie, they have little quips between each other that are just fun. And Avengers, you know, it was like, you ready for another bout? What, are you getting sleepy? And then Age of Ultron had multiple moments. This one...
I love the one in this one so much.
This one... Get a haircut? I noticed you shaved your cup in my beard. Oh, this is my friend, a tree. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers.
He's so sincere about it.
I swear, that part right there was Chris Evans shining through the Steve Rogers character. Because I was just like... Our boy kind of went himbo there for a second.
Kind of. But, not to drag this down, but this movie also had all the emotion.
Oh, it did.
Because we're not talking about the end yet. We're not talking about the end yet. We had the opening scene when Thanos attacking, you know, Asgard. We had the scene when they go to get the reality stone from nowhere with Peter, Drax, and Gamora against Thanos. When Thanos practically kidnaps Gamora, and Quill is like, I love you too, blah blah blah. Like that scene, like just he's desperate to get her back, which fuels him the rest of the movie, which we'll talk about that in a minute.
That part though, where like I just want to touch on real fast. Like Gamora had Quill promised that like if he has me, like take me out, basically.
And he goes to.
And he did it.
Yeah.
He pulled the trigger.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. So he did with like
because she knows.
tears in his eyes.
She knows what he had to do to get the Soul Stone.
She does, and that, you know, for all the credit in that movie, I will give. They made Thanos like I felt like he actually didn't want to do that.
Yeah, like you genuinely felt bad for him for having to do this, but at the same time, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel bad for him sacrificing his favorite child, which why do you have a favorite child? But at the same time, no, I don't, because you shouldn't have a favorite child, nor should you sacrifice him. You could choose not to.
But then everything up till this point would be a waste, and, you know, we don't want that.
One thing is that, like, in-world, Thanos, I don't think is happy about it at the very least, because, like, he's very upset because when Mantis does, like, the control on his head, she does say he feels, like, anguish and, like, fear and loss. Like, so he is legitimately grieving over Gamora at the very least, in, like, his head at the very least.
You can tell that it does affect him and it does fuck with him for having to do that, but and I guess if we're trying to see it from his point of view, he feels like the ends justify the means. What's one life when you're saving half of the universe? Which I have thoughts about that as well. Like, you could just not kill half of the people in the universe. You could just multiply all the resources.
Well, the resources will eventually.
That was his whole stick. The resources will run out.
He has the means to bend reality. I don't want to hear it.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. I
understand.
I'm sticking with you in seeing this from his point of view, because like Thanos is one of those, you see his point villains, you're just going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, like, yes, I get that the resources are going to eventually run out, but you hold all of reality into your palm, and the one thing you think of doing is, let's just kill a bunch of people.
It's like, and the what if, you know, he says, like, yeah, you know, T'Challa taught me you didn't have to destroy everything, like, kill half the universe, you can just do this. So I kind of hope we see that Thanos in the movies at some point.
That'd be interesting.
But
something to note about the Soul Stone, though, it was I thought it was cool when we saw Red Skull.
That I didn't expect that.
I know.
I did not in a million years expect that.
Fun fact:
I thought it was so cool.
That wasn't Hugo Weaving.
Yes,
I remember when I found out, I was like, no way. Nope.
No,
it was the guy from The Walking Dead, Ross.
Yeah.
Marquardt. He plays, what's his name? Aaron?
He played Aaron, I think. Because I remember when I found that out, I was like, there's no way that wasn't not Hugo.
Yeah.
Hold on,
I'll ask them who that was, because I didn't watch the show and she did.
Hold on,
Yep.
They just said
getting into
but before
getting into that fight too. I just remembered one of the scenes from this movie that really gets me every time. When they actually meet up for the first time, it's like, what master do you?
What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say? Jesus.
He's like, hold on, he's from Earth.
No, I'm from Earth. Okay, I have questions. Our man's was like 12, 13 when he was abducted. How did he not remember the name for Earth?
I don't think he was 12 or 13. I feel like he was a little younger than that.
Even though, like,
you're not wrong, but yeah.
I just remember that line gets me every time. What's a Gamora, or what's a
Where's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Which was ad-libbed.
Okay, so there's a scene when they meet up.
By the way, Bella Facebook.
And they
What?
become like more acquainted, and Peter Quill asks Peter Parker, I'm pretty sure, like, is Footloose still the greatest movie of all time? And deadpan, Peter Parker's like, it never was.
Yeah, I have no idea who this person is, but okay.
Mama will.
Yeah, Mama will.
But yeah, going back to the emotion real quick. Poor Wanda, and definitely, like Bear mentioned it earlier, poor Vision.
Vision got screwed over so hard in this
Vision
movie.
died twice in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, going back to like in-universe timeline, didn't the events of Infinity War and WandaVision happen in like 2 weeks?
No, I don't think that wouldn't be possible.
No, because there would be a 5-year gap. But
Yeah.
Wanda was one of the people who was dusted, which we'll talk about that in a minute.
That's why I said.
So you mean like that? Okay.
So when she comes back, you know,
apologies,
it's
yes,
like the
for
time
her,
didn't happen.
yes,
So
yes. Apologies, I missed that part.
No.
Okay.
But
I
yeah.
was like, wait a minute. No.
but all the different like hero dynamics, you know, talk about Wanda. The moment she saved Okoye and Black Widow from the child of Thanos and just obliterates her, and Okoye goes, why was she up there all this time? Just Wanda is a tank.
Oh yeah.
But
because up until this point for an Avengers movie, it's always been like, okay, they're gonna win, and then the thing I was like, they're gonna win, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then you're like getting real close to it, and like,
oh no, they didn't
5
win.
minutes of this movie left. What's going on?
I thought they were gonna win. Like, I legitimately was like, oh yeah, this has been a great movie, but like, all right, so then they beat Thanos and like they move on to the next thing. Cool.
And then, well, no, before just Thor tossing the axe and it embedding in his chest. I told you, you're gonna die for that. You should have gone for the head. And
oh man,
Damn.
all of them were sad.
Every
Mr.
single
Stark,
one.
I don't feel so good.
Oh, we don't talk. Okay, there's 2 that I think probably fucked me up the hardest. It's Peter's, because of his spidey sense. He kind of
He felt it coming.
He felt it coming. He knew something was wrong, and that fucked me up. But Groot hit me the
Yeah.
hardest.
Yeah.
Because I believe one of the directors or one of the writers translated what he said there, and it was him saying "Daddy" to Rocket.
Oh, that fucked me up. That still fucks me up.
But just, it's like, what do we do now? Just the look of defeat on Cat's face, and then like Bear mentioned earlier, like that small violin. Thanos walking out onto the porch, sitting down, looking at the sunset. Nods. Black screen.
Like,
I remember feeling so shocked. Like,
Shell
I didn't know what to do. Yeah.
like it was like this whole feeling of, well, fuck.
It's like, so what happens now?
yeah,
And
that
there was no post-credit scene. It was just that. There was no mid. There was no post. Just.
Yes, that too, Bear.
Oh yeah,
God.
like seeing just the looks on the people's faces that were left behind, and just like, oh fuck, what?
Just.
How are we possibly going to come back from this?
And
they portrayed the feeling of hopelessness in that moment.
Oh yeah,
so
just
well.
People shit on comic book movies because they feel like, oh, they're more for kids, and like they're just.
You're taking some shots, aren't you?
Like, no, well, like, you know, stuff like this, like the acting in these moments is just so phenomenal. And the fact that I know I'm weird. Listen, I'm still salty at Seth Rogen. All right, he can just fuck off. But
I was just talking about what Bear said.
the title turned into dust, for Christ's sake. I was like, thanks, Marvel.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like, "Oh, let's be end. Oh, come on."
But
Oh,
like, I agree with what Bear said earlier. You know, Infinity War is one of my favorite movies because that build up, and then this is what we get, and it's perfect. Like, there's not a lot I would do different in that movie.
no, it's
But then to shift tones, the next movie was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think they crammed 2 movies in between this. Like, I mean,
Yeah, they did. I really like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, Ant-Man, like, those movies are some of the most underrated movies in existence, I think, especially in comic books.
They're just so much fun.
And Paul Rudd is just
without being. I feel like Ant-Man and Wasp, or the Ant-Man movies in general, are what Taika Waititi might be trying to go for with the Thor movies. They're fun and they're funny, but without being too much.
Absolutely.
Wasp was good too.
Like, I have no idea what's going through Taika's head.
What'd you say,
I
Dakota?
just didn't. Ant-Man and Wasp was a great movie. I just don't think they did enough with the villain of that movie.
They didn't. This is one of those prime examples of the villain was not that great, but like just the movie itself.
Ghost or something.
Yeah, it was Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Ghost. Okay. Make sure I remembered that's who it was, because I was like, oh.
Well, I feel bad for Ant-Man and the Wasp because it came out so soon after Infinity War. It almost felt like it was overshadowed because until you said that the villain was Ghost, I could not tell you shit about that movie.
It came out 2 months after.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Infinity War was still probably making
so fresh in all of our minds.
Yeah, it was still raking in money in the box office, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out, and we're just like,
which that leads to that just adds to my point. The Ant-Man movies get so overshadowed and overlooked compared to everything else in the MCU. Like, it's insane because the 2 we've got so far have been so excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just like this one got overshadowed by Infinity War, the first one came out after Age of Ultron.
Oh fuck!
Guess which one's not getting overshadowed?
I tell you,
week.
oh my god, I can't wait! I can't wait.
I think that now that this one's going to come out without any of the big blockbusters like that, it's going to be able to shine. But also, with the part that he played in Endgame, I think a lot more people are going to go into Quantum Mania with a sense of, oh, this guy's kind of important.
Well, it's not just that. Like, this movie introduced the quantum realm.
It's going to set up a lot of stuff, so they say. And I am honestly shocked there haven't been a ton of clips out on the internet yet, which I'm glad.
Quantum Mania?
I haven't seen them.
I'm glad you haven't, because I watched 2, but there's like 5 out now.
Oh, well.
Stop spoiling yourself for shit. Spoiling shit for yourself. You know what I meant.
Also, by the way, Bear, I appreciate you saying that. That is exactly what we're going for.
Scared of that Quantum Mania?
No, the one a few above that. This convo is so dope. I could literally sit here and talk Marvel with you guys all night. That's what we're here for. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're not even done yet. We still got 2 movies.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, Endgame, Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Fuck, I forgot about Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's 2 Spider-Man movies in Phase 3.
I don't know how you all feel about this too, Tony, Bill, and Nate. The thing that really drove Ant-Man and the Wasp home for me was the end credit scene where you knew exactly where you were.
Yes. Yeah.
My jaw dropped because I didn't know what they were gonna do. And then I
I
was like,
wondered so much. Yeah.
oh. Because, I don't know, it was...
I don't remember the end credit scene. Like I
Oh,
said,
you forgot. How did you forget?
like I said,
She gets
this is so
Scott
overshadowed
kind of
by-
goes on like they're doing a little test of him going into the quantum realm.
Mhm.
Well, as soon as he goes in, it's like
Okay, so that's
when the snap happens.
okay. I
And-
couldn't remember if that was part of Ant-Man or if that was part of Endgame.
that was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man
Okay.
and the
Ant-Man
Wasp,
Wasp and credits.
But obviously Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. We got Michelle Pfeiffer, said the name right this time, as as Janet Pym. And then Hope actually got stuff to do, and it was just amazing. I love Hope.
I mean, also, you can't talk about an Ant-Man movie without being like, and thank you for Michael Pena. Thank you.
Unfortunately, he's not in Quantumania, but it makes sense.
I still
It makes sense because of where the movie takes place entirely in the quantum realm.
And I want him. I don't care.
I want them to release that 20-minute video that Kevin
Yeah,
Feige
the
has
recap.
confirmed exists.
I
They've
want
confirmed
to release
this
that
exists.
video and then like give a recap of Phase 4.
Oh, 100%. But there's a video for those who don't know what we're talking about. There's Michael Pena's character Luis in the Ant-Man movies does this I refuse to even attempt to try it because I can't. He does this recap of a story. And it's so this dude talked to this guy, and then that guy talked to this guy, and it just kept going, and it's so fun.
The most convoluted thing, but in the movies, the way that they do it is they show the characters with him voicing over them and saying the stuff that he does, and it's basically like a summary of what happened.
And there is
And
a
it's
20-minute.
so funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
There is a 20-minute video of him recapping the entire MCU through the Infinity Saga. Why we don't have that video yet is beyond me.
Like I was really hoping that they would drop it or something at Comic-Con.
Yeah. But yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, good movie, fantastic movie. A step down from Infinity War, but it's going to be. That's just unfortunate.
I didn't follow
It was
Infinity.
a cool down movie.
Just like the next movie, Captain Marvel.
It was one of those two movies I feel like were perfect kind of in between because it gave us a chance to kind of step back and breathe a little bit before Endgame. Of course, at the time we didn't know that.
Well, no, we knew when Endgame was coming out. We just didn't know.
I meant step back from Infinity War, kind of breathe, and kind of mentally prepare ourselves for what Endgame was going to be. At the time, we didn't know that, but now, hindsight, it's oh yeah, I'm glad we were able to kind of wait for it, gear up, kind of.
Yeah.
I have a question before we jump into Captain Marvel, because I can't remember where this scene took place.
Yes.
It might have been Infinity War. Probably Infinity War. But when... Because I feel it was after credits scene, I think, of Nick Fury in the pager.
That was Captain Marvel.
Was that...
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but when did
No.
scene take place?
That scene...
Was that at the end of Infinity War?
The scene itself takes place during Infinity War. Because it's after he snaps.
Was it in the film still, or was it after credits? I don't remember.
It had to be in
Another
the film.
scene you're talking about, and I can't remember if it was...
No, I think it might have been... Or, no.
No, what I'm thinking... Hold on.
I know the scene
That was the
Tony.
mid-credit scene for Captain Marvel.
That's what I thought. I was about to say, I think it was Captain Marvel. Couldn't breathe still.
What?
That's
Was it?
fair.
It was...
Or were
Wait,
those
I-
two...
With a lot of us.
It was...
Wait.
No, yeah,
No?
it had to be the mid-credit.
No, that's not the mid-credit scene for Captain Marvel.
It had to be before Captain Marvel.
It had to be an Infinity War, didn't it?
Yeah.
Infinity War.
But I
Because
just
I know the scene you're talking about, Thomas, where
Yeah.
he's like, oh shit,
Right, 'cause
he
the
drops
they
mid-
show the Captain Marvel like logo
Yeah.
on the poster, and
Because the mid-credit scene for Captain Marvel was of the cat.
No, that was the post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene was.
I don't want to talk about it yet.
Well, we're about to.
I know.
What was?
where is this?
That's
The
killing me.
mid-credit scene that didn't get payoff ever because they just left it hanging.
What was the mid-credit scene?
Oh, the one I was talking about? Where's Fury? And then they just left it. I was hunky-dory next time you see him.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie.
So it wasn't. It was a post-credit scene for Infinity War.
Okay, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the mid-credit scene for Captain Marvel, which yes, it doesn't make sense because in Endgame, well, we'll talk about that in a minute because right now we're talking about Captain Marvel. Wasn't bad. A lot of people didn't like the actress because of some of the comments she made. But like she made comments about, like middle-aged white guys have no business staying in this movie. This isn't for them, blah blah blah. But I thought it was really good. I thought she did a good job. I thought the movie was really good.
I liked it.
It was fun seeing, like 90s setting movie. But
It was definitely nostalgia bombing. Like a lot of nostalgia bombing for people born in the 90s and before that remember all of the stuff from that era. So that was fun.
It was a
Obviously-
blockbuster.
Oh,
Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster.
it would be good.
I had to pull up my thoughts on this one just to go back and search. March 9th, 2019, Dakota said, I will say the critics got this one wrong. Captain Marvel was an excellent film.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
We got
Don't-
Phil Coulson back.
it was good.
And I was so happy to see that.
The only thing I'll say about the movie that like wasn't super to me, like other than Captain Marvel, and I forget the character's name, but her like friend who is also a pilot.
I know who you're talking
Monica?
about.
To me, a lot of like the
Daughter.
other characters are kind of like weak. To me at least, like the villains to me were like, again, maybe I don't know. To me, they were just kind of.
well,
I thought Jude Law did a good job.
Yeah.
I was a little underwhelmed because I'm like, Captain Marvel's so awesome. It's got to be someone equally as awesome across, and it's just to me, it wasn't.
it could be the fact that a lot of
Yeah,
MCU
Monica Rambeau.
suck. Okay, I couldn't remember if Monica
Yes.
was the pilot or the daughter.
Hmm.
But it could be that, like I said, MCU villains just suck and are kind of
Kind of suck,
two-dimensional.
yeah.
No, the
It-
best friend in the movie is Maria. The daughter is Monica. Yeah.
Okay.
And it could be suffering from origin story syndrome, where it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have also still been Hangover from Infinity War for me.
oh yeah, and
It,
I don't know. I don't understand why people hate it so much. Like, is it kind of a
it's a
generic?
good movie. Yeah, but
Is it kind of a generic action movie at times? Yeah, but so are a lot of superhero movies.
I mean,
It was still fun.
I
Bear
don't
says
understand the hate for it.
Bear says Cap Marvel came and went because we knew Endgame was coming. That also had a lot to do with it.
Maybe yeah too.
But even Endgame out of the picture, Captain Marvel did just come and go.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
that's
I
not
mean-
saying it's a bad movie. It it introduced a lot of cool concepts and a lot of interesting characters. But
and it's really interesting because I remember dragging one of my coworkers the night that Endgame came out to see Captain Marvel because I hadn't seen it yet, and I wanted to at least know the character before I saw her in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still in theaters. Like we saw it the same day.
Yeah, no, it was still
When
good
did
film.
Captain
I mean,
Marvel
for
come
what it
out?
was.
March?
It was it was like right before it, I think.
March
Yeah.
8th.
If they were both in theaters at the same time, then like,
Yeah.
I really like the Kroll. I believe that
Yeah,
is like
Scrolls.
the alien.
Scrolls.
Or Scrolls, sorry.
Setting up for the next big event. Future planning.
Which we're going to talk about that after all this. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree with all y'all. Absolutely. I definitely feel like Jude Law's team were just throwaways. Especially since half of them were either already in Marvel movies or they're going to be in future movies. Because I believe one of them was the main character in Eternals. Let me confirm.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
tell us.
Yep.
So
That was
my
one.
favorite movie.
She played. I will punch you.
And then
Please note, I'm not that violent.
Guy was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
yeah, we had a couple of them because wasn't Ronan in it as well?
Yeah, but he played the same character.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guy played a different character in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to say it's both of.
I thought it was a younger Ronan.
It was a younger Ronan, but the other actor I'm talking about is Jimon Hounsou.
He's playing the same character. He's
Yeah,
just
pretty sure it's the same characters, just different times.
yeah. Because I want to say that
You're right. It is. You're right. I'm done. I'm shutting up.
no, you're not done.
Codpast is canceled.
It's like Bear says, it came and went because it was sandwiched between Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we went
Such
to
a rough spot for a movie to sit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Goose is still the best character in the movie.
That is debatable.
My only complaint about the movie, I want you to go back to Captain America Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
No.
Oh, who's a cute little kitty? Slash.
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's how. Okay.
I don't mess with
That-
kitty.
Nick
That
Fury.
was a little underwhelming to me.
Well, think of Nick Fury as a person. Do you honestly think he's gonna fess up that he lost his eye?
You're not wrong.
Rogue
That just.
alien attack?
I will say, speaking of Nick Fury, his banter with Brie Larson was so good. Like, they had excellent chemistry.
I agree. Like I love Sam Jackson's portrayal of younger Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I liked that this gave us, I think this movie out of any movie gave us the most Nick Fury and the most background on Nick Fury. So this was like our best shot to like learn about him as a character. Which I do very much enjoy that they gave us that.
His exchange in the elevator. What does your mom call you? Fury.
Guys, is it time?
I think it's time. Unless we want to skip ahead to Spider-Man and then just end on Endgame.
No, because Spider-Man's the epilogue.
Yeah, it has a direct impact on that.
Avengers Endgame.
Oh.
I need to get my emotional support kitty.
Opens up with the blip again. Only this time, it's Hawkeye's family.
Yeah.
Damn.
I fell in love with his family in Ultron because we got to see that side of him.
And it was really cute. Like, and so to see that happen
like knowing how much of how dedicated he is to his family, how much he cares about them, seeing all of them taken,
Just
absolutely, just like you can understand why he goes the route he goes.
Absolutely
Oh, yeah.
gut-wrenching to see
Oh,
him go through that.
Like, I remember seeing it in the theater and realizing, like, when I realized what happened, just thinking, oh, fuck.
yeah.
No, man, out to this day, never forget. I forget how long that entire opening. Maybe was it like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if you're pushing it. My friends that were with me, I was like, "This pacing is going too fucking fast to go into." Because I was like,
the Hawkeye scene?
Wait. When
No,
you say
the-
the opening scene, you talk about when they go to find Thanos?
yeah, that whole opening section. I was
Oh.
like,
Yeah,
the pacing for this is going too fast. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm
It's
back
like
from
I'm like, I would have thought that would have been towards the middle of the movie or something. Or
Yeah.
like, oh, we're doing this now.
I want to
like,
I want to work
what?
up to that real quick. I want to work up to that because I know where y'all are going. I want to work up to that. We had the scene with Hawkeye, and then we had Tony and Nebula on the ship. And it's been 22 days since everything happened, and ship's broken down. They're trying to make it survive. Blah blah blah. Tony's teaching her how to play paper football, which was really cute. The murder lady hasn't killed me yet. I'm kind of surprised, but and then Captain Marvel saves him after he records the touching message to Pepper. Captain Marvel finds him, brings him home, and you have the team sitting in the facility. Cat shaved his beard for whatever reason.
That's the biggest tragedy of Endgame. Let's be real.
It is. Cat lands. Well, Captain Marvel lands, helps everyone out. Cap rushes up to help Tony. Blah blah blah. I couldn't beat him. Neither could I. I lost the kid. Tony, we lost. Rocket and Nebula sitting on the stairs, just sitting beside each other, just in loss. And they hold hands. And it's just like Bear said, like it's Infinity War feels all over again. Like this movie is just
it opens
reminding you what like the pain that you're supposed to be feeling after what happened in Infinity War. They're like okay, here's
over the past year. By the way, here it is again.
Rush again. Feel the pain.
Blah blah blah. Talking like I don't trust you. Where are you going? To kill Thanos. And it's like whoa. Oh, okay, listen, Captain Marvel. We do things together. And she has one of my favorite lines to explain why she's never been there. Because Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, right? We were in 2002. Well, 2018, right?
I was about to say, wait a minute.
Yeah, where's Captain Marvel been all this time? And her explanation is the universe has a lot of people, and unfortunately, they don't have you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that one line just okay.
Yep.
I'm good.
It's like, all right, thank you for that. Okay, that makes sense. Your excuse.
Yeah. And then
it's just...
they track it. They find where Thanos is. Let's go get this son of a bitch. And like you said, the pacing, like it feels like it's going way too fast. Like, what's going on? They get there. He's destroyed the stones, so it can't be reversed. Blah blah blah. Decapitation. Thor, what did you do?
I went for that.
I went for the head, and you just see the defeat in his eyes. And then he walks away, camera fades out, blurs out, black screen. And then the biggest shock in the movie, to me anyway, comes up on screen. 5 years later.
I cannot put into words how much I love Thor in this movie. The all of the stuff that he goes through, like you can tell,
Mhm.
especially like coming up when we're about to mention it, when we find him again, just how badly losing fucked with him. Like he blames himself and the depression that he must have slipped into, like you can see because he let himself go. The classic signs are there. He's just not taking anything seriously. He gives no shits about his self until like he finds that there might be a way to fix this. And then the scene later on, and y'all will know the scene that I'm talking about, with him and Mjolnir. I cried.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I cried.
I was
Like,
gonna
that whole scene was sad, but, like
Thor was one. I agree. Thor was one of my favorite parts of this because of all
like,
that. It's like it doesn't matter how much you fail. That your failure doesn't determine your worth, and I
and
fucking love that.
the fact that he was talking to his mom,
But
like, his arc in that movie is just one of my favorites.
it is my favorite.
It, dude.
Pulling Juggernaut elbow.
I mean, hey, that was a fantastic fight in Deadpool 2 as Colossus and Juggernaut. We're talking about Deadpool 2, not Endgame. They weren't in this movie. Let me just clarify. But yeah, there was 5 years of them just trying to
Pick up the pieces.
get through, get by.
Trying to figure out what to do next. Like, fuck, half of the people on the planet are gone. Like, what? And I can't imagine just how badly that had to fuck with everything.
Yeah. Well, there was a positive thing that they mentioned in it. When Cap goes to visit Natasha, I keep wanting to say Natalie, at the facility, he says, I saw a couple whales in the Hudson. So the snap, it felt like it did have a few positive effects, but not a lot.
When you got to think too, that was this one planet. That was universal wide too.
Yeah.
That happened everywhere. So
And I like the way Spider-Man touched. I like the way Spider-Man touched on it too. Well, we'll talk about that later.
I just wonder if all the other planets are like, what the hell just happened?
I'm kind of curious about that myself.
I mean, there had to have been just sheer pandemonium because I couldn't imagine how badly it would fuck up just like systems and society on this planet with like government run stuff, just like random day-to-day stuff, all sorts of shit like that. And there's gonna be one motherfucker who be like, so you're still coming in to work, right?
Oh man.
Like,
Like,
How long would you pretend to
no,
have been
fam.
snapped if, like, you didn't want that to work that job anymore?
right? Phone.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
sorry.
I was
Part of
snapped.
me is kind of curious as, like to see like a little mini series on, how things were like the weeks and months after that snap. I'd love to see, it'd be depressing as hell, but
Part of me doesn't, just because I would know the to get real dark with it, the suicide rate would have to have skyrocket.
oh, it absolutely had to have.
Like, and that's not even considering the amount of families that were ripped apart, how many children were probably left without parents, and what the fuck is going to happen if those children were infants. Like, this had horrible repercussions.
Now,
So
now I feel
many
bad for saying I
levels.
want to see some stories of immediately after.
It would be interesting to see, but like the repercussions of that, because like you can take it at any perspective.
Yeah.
Because even think about this. Think about like if you or like with someone and that's your partner and they get snapped.
They touch on that a lot in
Yeah.
But like
a lot of the
so
movies
I
and the
guess we
TV shows
can-
that follow.
Yeah, I guess we like this is jumping ahead, but it's like what happens like later when, you know, it's reversed, like
A younger brother now becomes an older brother.
yeah, a younger brother's an older brother. Like what if so like for that person who got snapped away, they're like they come back and they're still in that same place mentally. And this person is aged 5 years.
Yeah.
Both physically and mentally.
Didn't they
Yeah.
touch on that in some
They touched on that in Spider-Man Far From Home, I
Spider-Man?
believe.
Yeah, okay.
And I think they touched on some of it in Black Widow.
Yep.
Or it might have been Falcon and... No?
I think it was Spider-Man.
Hawkeye that they touched a little bit on.
I think it was Hawkeye because it...
It was either Hawkeye
yeah.
or a little bit like tail end of Black Widow.
The Ancient One's mistake? Which one? Giving Bruce the stone?
I'm curious what Bear's referring to. Because I'm not
Me too.
immediately
I don't know.
nothing's immediately coming to mind.
As a mistake, yeah, nothing.
But can we talk about the fact that the one that saved everything was a rat?
Yes, I meant to bring this up. That the real hero of the MCU is a rat in a garage. Because without that rat,
Yeah.
none of this happens.
Yep.
And just knowing that what did he say? It was like 5 hours or something in the quantum realm?
Yeah, he says like
Come-
5 hours for me.
Like, it was like 5 minutes or something.
No, it was like 5 hours because he was like, "I'm hungry. Y'all gonna eat that sandwich?"
No, he said he was like, that's the thing. It wasn't 5 years. It was like 5
Yeah, it was
hours or
5.
something like that.
Yeah.
But just knowing that, he was in there for 5 years, but it was really in there for like 5 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing the hope, on Black Widow, like on Natasha and Steve's faces, talking to Scott, saying, "Holy shit, we might actually be able to fix
Don't
this."
do that, Nate. Don't give me hope.
Talk about
Yeah,
variance.
yeah.
I wonder if her mistake was not giving Hulk the stone, and Strange sees all those. King interferes some way. Just theory. I mean,
Wait, what?
since we were talking about variance, well, we haven't really gotten to variance yet. That's a Phase 4 thing. The concept of variance isn't introduced until Loki, Season 1, and that's Phase 4. Was not giving Hulk the stone, and Strange sees all those time stones. Ancient One didn't give them the stones, and Kang interferes. I mean, God, can you imagine if Kang and Thanos team up?
So if I'm thinking about this correctly, maybe
Against each
this-
other.
Is Bear also referring to like all the different like scenarios that Doctor Strange saw? Maybe.
All 14 million.
Yeah, and like that, and a bunch of them.
Also, 14 million possibilities, and you only win one of them. Really?
Yeah.
That just felt like a stretch to me.
It could be that was their best chance of winning with the least amount of collateral damage. Because in the end, they only really lose 3 people.
Quill. They lose because of Quill.
No, we're talking about Endgame now.
I
Yeah.
know. We're talking about the possibilities.
Like, at the end, they really only lose 3 people. They lose Gamora, they lose Natasha, and they lose Tony. Versus any of the other 14 million people, they could have lost
Everyone.
everybody, which leaves them open for a lot worse shit. Like that, maybe that was their one chance of winning, and then, continue winning.
Yeah. So with that in mind, that proves like all their planning went off without a hitch. But that is a fun thought, like what if they fucked up, and then the TVA would have to come in. Which, again, it's touched on in Loki season 1, because that's what happens when Loki disappears during the Avengers bit in Endgame. But we're getting all over the place here with this.
It's us. Are you
Yeah.
surprised?
There are so many moments in this movie that like still gut wrench, right?
And
Like,
then there's
so-
some that were just thrown in there just to troll.
Yeah.
And the
it's-
biggest one that Hell Hydra.
Oh yes.
One. Okay, we're bringing back the rant in a little bit, just because of my thoughts on all of Cap and Endgame, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Something I wanted to touch on was, I know we sort of like led to it, but like Hawkeye's like development through this movie where he just turns into this killer
Ronan.
is just, it's so crazy because you picture Hawkeye in the previous movies, and Hawkeye, like, yeah, he's an Avenger, but he has a few more like funny quips. You know, he wasn't like, he's the guy with the bow and arrow against a horde of aliens. You know,
Yeah, he's almost like the butt of the joke, like, because no one really wants to take him seriously because he's an archer, until you get to Ultron when you realize, oh, he's kind of the guy that keeps everyone together.
Yeah.
He's like the dad of the team.
Head of the thing.
Yeah. And like seeing him go through all that is one of the, and him being like, "Don't give me hope."
That
Is
fucking- oh, it hurt.
And then fast forwarding a little bit, when it actually works and his phone starts ringing and it's his wife.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Well, just don't ruin the moment for a second. Like that hope that just floods his face when he hears the phone buzzing on the desk, and he walks over and looks at it, and it's his wife, and he picks it up, answers it, and hears her voice. Just that relief. You can just see the weight of the world just leave his shoulders, especially after what happened with Natasha.
yeah. I wanted to talk about that really bad too.
Jeremy Renner is such an emotive actor, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't really pay attention to or think about. But the "Don't give me hope" line, the entire thing with him and Natasha trying to get the stone, the thing Nate just mentioned with the phone call, you can see it in his eyes.
Mm.
And I think that is, to me anyway, like one of the things I love most about his character.
Yeah.
I will say that I know you're about to want to talk about the same scene I'm about to bring up.
Okay. Yeah.
I will say that the same scene with the Soul Stone, the bit with when it involved Natasha hit me so much harder than Gamora's did.
Oh yeah.
Because
absolutely.
you want to talk about character development. Look at Black Widow from Iron Man 2 to Endgame.
Yes.
Definitely.
And Holly, hi, love your face. Just it comes to a head here, and it's just like you can't help but feel proud for her, and just pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's content. She wants to do this because she said earlier, I want to make a difference. This is that difference.
She's already accepted.
And you go take your hammer and you talk to the guy. And then the whole scene afterwards, when everyone gets back, hey, we got the stones, cool. Where's Natasha?
I think it's really interesting that someone pointed out that the guys on the dock are pretty much going through every stage of
I saw that
grief.
post. I saw that post.
And I didn't really think about it, but it's just like, well, fuck.
Yeah. Drops to the floor. I'm getting emotional already. Yeah, it's like there was so much build up for this movie, and just like Infinity War, there was so much writing on this because like, what if they messed this up? Like, what if they screwed this up? And they didn't.
I think, at least for me, I'm not sure about everyone else. I think something that's interesting going into Endgame, we now aren't sure if they will win at the end, because if Infinity War taught us, oh, they actually can lose. So the whole what if they fuck this up was a big possibility now.
What if they snap and they just do it again?
Yeah.
But it's like Bear mentioned earlier, you know, this has a lot of fan service moments, not in the anime sense of fan service, but there's a lot of references to everything leading up to this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Like homages.
Yeah.
Or like hat tilts or whatever you want to call it.
Like Cap versus Cap was fun.
That is America's ass.
That was a thing that happened. I forgot about that.
It's like, Cap, I just wanted to say that suit does nothing for your ass. Tony, I don't remember asking for your opinion. I don't care what he says, Cap. That there is America's ass.
America's ass.
Which, by the way, both interactions between Tony and Steve. When Tony first gets back, and then, you know, it's been 5 years. He comes back after they went to the cabin and talked to them. And it's like, resentment is corrosive and I hate it. And they make up. After what happened in Civil War. It's small, but I always like that conversation between Tony and Steve.
It fits with their characters, kind of, because both men, neither of them are going to be overly emotional with each other because they're too much like the same person.
Yeah. And then he gives him the shield back. Tony, why? He made it for you. Yeah. Which technically, no, he didn't. He just found it under the table. And it's like, what's this? Oh, this is cool. Can I have this frisbee? But, you know, had a lot of cool moments, had a lot of fun moments. And then, by the way, one thing that everyone was wondering, how are they fighting Thanos at the end of this movie? It's a different Thanos from a different timeline. Which has me wondering, like, this just popped in my head, going back to what Bear said, how has the TVA not done anything about that? Because what the TVA does in the MCU is they find, you know, points in history and different timelines that could affect things and throw everything off course, creating multiple different, like, timelines and shit. And they fix it.
It could
be. Didn't they say that was supposed to happen, though?
Yeah, it could be argued that it was supposed to happen, and it could very well be that they then went back and reestablished Thanos and the timeline so that the events of Infinity War could happen.
Timelines are weird. Time travel is weird.
Because I could have swore that was a line in Loki or something. Because I thought they said.
I don't remember them ever mentioning Infinity War Endgame at all.
Or at the beginning of it. I don't know
either.
But that's one thing that is now going to bug me. It's like, wait. So if the Thanos leaving 2014, coming to 2022, if that's supposed to happen, then how does the Thanos in the proper timeline get to 2019?
Plot hole.
If he's supposed to...
It's because they're different variant timelines, though, right?
Yeah,
That
but
would be the only way that they could explain it, is that each time they do that, they get a variant from a different timeline. But it's like, as we know it in the movie, like when it came out, it's a plot hole. Like if you,
It
wibbly
was,
wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
yeah, that thing.
But
it is because I thought the whole premise of it was that was because they weren't using like their timeline's Infinity Stones. They had to go use a different universes or different, timelines.
different
Infinity
timelines,
Stones.
like multiple different ones.
It was
But-
very Dragon Ball timeline esque, is what it was.
Ish.
Sort of like.
And they do kind of touch on that whenever Bruce is talking to the Ancient One.
Exactly, because
As long as the time stones are returned to their proper timeline, everything's fine.
Yeah, like you have to do it or else it's gonna fuck up a lot of shit.
So, I don't know. I don't know.
And
It's a good movie. We're not gonna down it too much.
too late. We've already thought about it.
But
I
yeah,
think we'll get more answers on this next week.
But I want to touch a little bit on what Bella mentioned earlier about Thor's buildup here. Like he blames himself. He, in his eyes, he's the reason everyone's dead. He's the reason this went to hell. And that Rocket and Bruce come to try to recruit him, try to say, "Hey, we found a way to fix this." No, we're good. We can stop Thanos. His face and his whole demeanor just changes. Don't say that name.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that name. Like, just, I don't know. Like, I thought that was really good. And then leading into the scene in Asgard when he was talking to Freya.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you're a failure. Thanks, Mom. Well, that just means you're just like everyone else. Everyone fails. The question is, what are you going to do moving forward? And then he gets Mjolnir. I'm still worthy. Indicating that your depression doesn't your depression doesn't indicate your worth. So, yeah. Tony, you were trying to chime in because I was just rambling there for a second?
I remember what I was saying. Oh, it was just very silly when he's talking to his mom and is like, "Okay, like I believe in you, and maybe eat a salad."
Yeah. But I'm ready to get into the big bit.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit, everything's going like blah blah blah. Snap. We fixed it. Rain down destroys the entire compound. And you get the big three. You get Thor, you get Captain America, and you have Iron Man standing there staring down at Thanos. Where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing? Absolutely nothing. Where are the stones? Somewhere under there. All right, let's keep it that way. You realize this is a trap, right? Yeah, I know. I don't care. Good. So long as we're on the same page. Summons both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. Bam! Viking-style beard and his hair. Armor. Let's kill him properly this time. And you get the big three versus Thanos in an epic fight. And just when you think it's over, you see Mjolnir float up, crash into Thanos, flies back. Captain America's wielding Mjolnir. What was your reaction when you first saw that, and what was the theatrical reaction when you were there?
Screaming.
Oh,
Screaming, and also, I knew it!
There was so much chaos in the theater when that reveal happened. I was literally bouncing up and down on my seat because I knew in the comics that he could, and the fact that they finally brought it into the movies and the way they did it to me was just so good. Like, I freaked the fuck out.
My whole theater freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And this is one of those moments, you know, you don't like it when you go to the movie theater. You don't like it when people talk over the movie. You don't like it when people scream over the movie. One of the things about Endgame, and I don't think there's another movie. The only one that might is maybe Avengers: Secret Wars Part 1 and 2. Maybe. This isn't just a movie you're going to watch. This isn't just, oh, it's just another comic book movie. This is an event.
Yes.
Like, this is big. So let the crowd scream. Let the crowd cheer. And when Cap caught Mjolnir, there wasn't a person sitting. There wasn't a person not screaming and cheering.
Endgame is the only Marvel movie that I saw opening night, and Nate can attest, I don't do that. I don't like Marvel movies opening night because the theater is full. I saw Endgame opening night.
And like it was worth it.
Oh yeah.
And just watching Cap flawlessly wield Mjolnir it's my favorite bit from that movie. But then Thanos gets the better of him, destroys the shield, and Cap's just ready to he's not ready to give up. He stands, and I don't remember the line, but there's a line between Thanos and Cap that was in the comics, and I can't remember it, but it was just massive. It was something along the lines of like, I will take you down, and Thanos is like, big words for a man who's about to die. But I feel like the way they did it was better. Because as Cap's walking towards his immediate and inevitable demise, you see everyone lining up behind Thanos. Cap's about to go one versus an army. You hear the muffled, "Hey Cap. Hey Cap, you hear me?" On your left. Portal opens behind him, and out walks T'Challa with Shuri and Okoye. And then out flies Falcon, and then just portals start opening everywhere. Heroes are walking out, everyone's walking out. You get the Wakandan army, you get all just different groups of fighters. You get the students from the Sorcerer's Sanctorum. You get everybody. Pepper lands in her rescue armor, which is what it's called. Everyone lines up behind Cap, and then we finally get Avengers assemble. And then like the battle just, what was y'all's mindsets? What was y'all's reaction? The hype, the excitement. What was going through your mind watching that for the first time? And I apologize for the length. I apologize for this length, by the way.
Oh, you're good. I was thinking, they're not going to lose again, are they?
That was more of my thoughts. Just like, oh, this shit's about to happen.
It's like, it's people gonna die.
And they had the perfect music going over it.
It was perfect. It was great. And like Bear said, hearing that and then Thor and Black Panther roar into battle was a level of hype I don't know if Marvel can ever achieve again. Which leads to the big question that everyone has been asking ever since Endgame released. How the fuck do you top Endgame? And I personally believe Secret Wars is how you do it. It's going to be a stretch. If done right, Endgame's going to look like Iron Man compared to this. But yeah, like the question still stands. Bella, Tony?
Like I said, by the time we got to the end of Endgame and the end of Tony Stark's character arc, Because you can argue that Tony Stark was the main character of the entire MCU up until this point. Like as far as Avengers movies go, and like his standalone movies, obviously he's one of many, but like you can argue that this was about Tony Stark. But by the time he gets to his death, he has very much grown to a character that I cried about. Like, had it been Tony Stark from Iron Man 1, no, not so much. But Tony Stark at Endgame, yeah.
There's one scene that, like, we all know the scene, but it's when Tony does the snap. And it's, to me, it's like the most impactful line in any of the movies up until this point, because Thor, I believe, goes to snap and says, "I am inevitable," and then Tony Stark pulls up the gauntlet he has on his Iron Man suit and says, "And I am Iron Man." Snaps. And the line "I am Iron Man" is probably the most, it was done in the most poetic way possible, because the line "I am Iron Man" is what started the MCU.
It is. You're absolutely right.
1000%.
So him to say that there was
Just
that hit hard.
And then everything, like the battle itself, you know, it had a lot of good moments. But in terms of, you know, like big battles like that, I don't want to say it didn't have a lot of like big impactful moments, but it kind of didn't.
Just
In terms of the fight itself. But you know, it's the concept that they're back, and now like we're pissed, and we're coming for the guy who did this. But going back to what I was talking about earlier about Cap and Thor, they had a fun one in this. When they both catch Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, but Cap catches Stormbreaker and Thor catches Mjolnir, and they're like, "No, give me that one. You take the little one." Flies off.
That was funny.
Yeah. I'll say the other portion of that, like you were talking about from their side of the fight, being that it was also a different perspective from the Thanos side, because you know he didn't care about balancing the universe. He was like, you know, I'm gonna
It's a different
enjoy
Thanos.
this. Yeah, he was like,
It's like when Wanda came down, which by the way, Wanda almost soloed Thanos. Like Wanda's the queen. She damn near just won off to Thanos.
I can't remember exactly what he said. He was like,
Oh,
you know, this one I'm going. I'm sure you know the line, Nate.
Is it the one I'm about to bring up? When Wanda came down?
Maybe. No. But like with
I know what you're
did
talking
he say
about.
it then? He was
No,
like,
hold on. I got it. But she lands and says, "You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are."
Yep.
You will.
And just proceeds to just bitch slap Thanos. Thanos wasn't forgiving. He was like, "Oh, y'all not grateful? Fine, I'm getting rid of all y'all."
Yeah.
But still, 2014 Thanos had a lot of good lines. Like his little monologue before the fight started with Thor, Cap, and Stark. "You couldn't live with your own failure.
Yep.
Where did that bring you? Right back here to me. Yeah, we're all kinds of stubborn. I'm grateful because now I know what I must do to rid the world of whatever he was talking about. You know, I have to rid the world of those who are ungrateful. The ones who are left, like, won't know what they had because you won't be there to tell them." Just.
Yep.
And I don't think you could have gotten a better actor to play Thanos than Josh Brolin.
Josh did a wonderful job.
Such a great.
Just, he was. And then, Captain Marvel comes down, makes the save. You get everyone reuniting. The funny bit was when Peter Quill bumps into 2014 Gamora. It's like, Gamora, blah, blah, blah. Crotch shot, and just puts him on the ground. Nebula runs up. This is the guy? Really? Either that or a talking tree. What?
The exchange between the two of them at that moment was just wonderful.
I've seen a lot of people hate on the fact, like the scene where all the female heroes were on screen together, but they did nothing with it.
I will say I don't like it because it seemed forced.
Yeah. It was just a shoehorn, just a, hey, here's...
Yeah. Look at all the...
Not to say forced representation, but...
No, it felt to me like you said, shoehorned in there. Like, look at all the women we have. We're gonna put all of them in a scene for no reason. Like,
it was cool to see, but you did nothing with it. But, the fight was decent. It was fine, blah, blah, blah. And then Thanos finally gets the gauntlet. I am inevitable. Nothing happens. Looks at it. Looks over at Tony. Nanobots putting the stones in place. Which, by the way, I want to touch on... I want to say Bear said it. Yeah, the most impactful was Strange holding up the one and Tony accepting what he had to do. Apparently, Bennett, him holding up that one, was improv. He was supposed to say a line there, and he forgot it. And so just to kind of keep it going, he just went one, and they kept it.
It worked out good.
But yeah. And then, I'll talk about, I am Iron Man. It hit so much harder that time than the first time. Because the first one started the MCU. The final one saved the MCU. In a way, kind of. Because it took out that threat. Ow, there's my knuckle. Now, here's my question. I know y'all have seen the clips. When Tony's laying there and everyone realizes what happened and he dies, there's a deleted scene where all the heroes kneel.
Yep, I've seen that one.
My question for you and everyone in chat, would you have preferred that be his send-off? Or the one we got in the movie?
That's tough.
I like the one that we got in the movie because...
I kind of I would have liked a combination of the two. And that, they all kneel in respects to Tony Stark. And you skip the scene where he's floating down the river and the camera's just panning towards everyone's just standing there at the cabin, looking at it. And just and go from the kneeling to them inside the cabin with the hologram message for him to Morgan.
I like the way that they did it in the movie because the kneeling to the hologram message probably wouldn't have...
Oh, no, they're not kneeling to the hologram message. I'm talking about...
No.
You talk about that transition.
Yeah, transition from all of them kneeling on the battlefield to them essentially his last will and testament. But I like the funeral because while, yes, Tony Stark, without a doubt, died a warrior's death, and the people that fought with him would have been able to or wanted to pay his respects on the battlefield, Tony Stark at Endgame, after 5 years of being a father and raising a child and being with Pepper in the middle of nowhere in the cabin, would probably have preferred the quiet funeral of just his friends and family. I don't think he would have wanted anything grand or big or warrior funeral. I think he would have liked the proof that Tony Stark has a heart end.
The scene, like the deleted scene, starts after Pepper says you can rest now. And then the scene kind of fades out to all the heroes just kind of standing around, just kind of mourning Tony. But I mean, yeah. Trevor Moray, yeah. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they could have worked out a way where, just have them kneel, like, the warrior's death, like you said, kneel after battle, and then as they're kneeling, have the voiceover of his will and testament kind of start to play over that.
That could have been good.
And then transition into like them having a proper funeral at the cabin. And getting the scene that we got in the cabin after like all that. I don't know, just thought, random thought. Just me.
No, it could have been good. I was still surprised about the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know who that was.
I was like, oh.
That's who that was, but I had to look it up for sure.
I think you just messaged me. I think you just asked me. Like, who was that kid standing there? That was the kid from Iron Man 3. Fun fact, he's also the kid from Jurassic World.
You would know that.
It's the same actor.
Yeah, you would know that. I haven't seen the movie.
Tony, what are your thoughts on this?
There's so much. I don't like just the ending, like the send off. I liked it. I liked it the way they did it. I think it's Hawkeye who says the line. Like, I think he was specifically maybe talking about Nat.
It was when he was talking to Wanda at the lakeside after the ceremony.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's like, I just want them to know that we won.
I think they do.
Yeah.
And then they hugged because they have the cutest big bro, little sister friendship.
Yes.
But then
This is...
Morgan and Happy on the porch still make me cry.
Yeah.
Do what?
Morgan and Happy on the porch.
Yeah.
Where she's talking, she wants a cheeseburger, and he's just like, "I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers."
Yeah. But then, Cap, Sam, Bucky, and Bruce are standing there talking about, putting all the time stones back, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll bring you right back to this time, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Where's he at?
Where is he?
Bring him back. Sam. Look at the lakeside. There's old man Steve sitting there on a bench.
Yeah.
Something good or something bad happened? Well, I thought I'd try a little bit of that life that Tony was talking about. And he's got a ring on his finger, blah, blah, blah. It's just going to feel weird having a world without a Captain America. Funny you mentioned that. Brings the shield up. Try it on. Sam looks back at Bucky, nods, and Sam Wilson picks up the shield. Looks good on you. Passes the torch, and then the movie ends. Back in 1940 something, I can't remember the exact year, of Steve and Peggy dancing in the living room.
Yeah.
And that's Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I get to my rants. You cannot tell me that the entirety of Stephen Grant Rogers, all of the stuff that we have seen him do in the MCU up to this point, he would have left Bucky in the future after all the shit he did to get Bucky back to go back to Peggy. I don't like it. I don't like Steve's ending.
I, I,
I love him passing the torch to Sam. That was a beautiful moment, and I think Sam is very good to pick up the mantle for Captain America, and I loved him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I do not like the way they ended Steve.
I don't disagree.
That seemed selfish, which is very out of character to me.
Yeah, no, that I think
No,
I agree with that. Yeah.
I recognized the song Bear, and I thought it was an interesting tie-in, but like,
I agree with your mind. I agree with you. The only thing I can think of is what kind of life did he live when he was back there? Like he knew where Bucky was, so I can see him like going and saving him.
yeah,
And then
like
in that timeline, he saved Bucky and he got him help. But on top of all that, can you? I want to see I want to see a series.
This happened because of the whole sacred timeline thing. Like we have to sit here and believe that Steve Rogers did nothing. He didn't stop Bucky from killing Tony's parents. He didn't go and try and save Bucky, even though he knew exactly where he was. He didn't stop Hydra from infiltrating Shield.
Yeah.
He didn't warn Peggy about Hydra infiltrating Shield. No, we have to believe that Steve Rogers dropped everything from the current timeline, including Bucky, to go back in time to be with Peggy and then did nothing. No, I don't believe it.
You're not wrong, and that is my biggest gripe about the movie. It's like, wait,
I could see either argument for it. I mean, especially
and then at the same time, the only thing I can think of is in the current timeline, he sees like Bucky's fine. He's got Sam. He's got all these people. It's like I think he even said in the movie like he was just tired.
He also spent the past 5 years telling people it's okay to move on. The fuck you mean? You're literally stuck in the past, sir.
He went back how many years?
I don't know. I'm just. It's a weird. Like on one hand, on one hand, he does finally get his girl, but at what cost?
Yeah.
You guys seen that parody video they made of when he went back, and it was people acting it, and they've gone through like different eras.
Yeah.
And
what about Peggy's actual husband, though? Is my question.
Isn't
got moved to the side.
Oh, Steve's back later.
Yeah.
Which
if he went
again,
back far enough, he would have been like no time at all for her, basically.
I don't know. Like
the other side to that argument that I've always understood or kind of heard, or time travel being wonky, is he knew that there was another version of himself in the ice that would have to go do all this eventually, because he would still be there in theory.
It's a really complicated conversation to have.
But I just have
in stuff gets really wonky.
I just had another kind of disturbing thought.
Uh-oh.
When he goes into the ice, he and Peggy are assumably roughly the same age, yeah? Probably very early 20s. He's like 23-ish. She's probably not much older, if she's older at all. When he gets back, isn't he going to be in like his 30s or something? Like physically, not literally. 82.
Yeah, because
probably
about a decade had gone by. Yeah.
So
I
imagine that would have had to have been explained. Like, hey, I made it to our date. This is totally a week later for me, Saturday night at the Stork Club, 8 p.m. Steve, you got some gray hairs on you. What happened?
Time's a funny thing, Peggy.
It's been a long week.
But it's been a day, let me tell you.
True.
But I mean, on one hand, I 100% agree. Like, it feels like everything Cap did up until this point, everything he stood for, he just threw it all away. I completely get that, and it's weird. Like, like had I legit have no idea where to go from here in terms of that topic, because it's weird, but I like it, but I don't like it because of how weird it is and how much it throws away everything Steve is. But at the same time, he gets Peggy, but it's weird.
I think that it's a very justified rant to have gone on. That's what I'll say. Yeah.
At the very bare minimums, I'm glad he got a happy ending, but the ending that he got should not have been the ending that he got.
Yeah.
Like, it throws all of his character development not only out the window, but just like shits on the character in general, to me.
Yeah.
It's a fair point, Bear.
Exactly, and he's been stuck on Peggy since then. Like, he still frequently visited her and was even obviously tearful at her wedding, which, fun fact, there's a running theory that Old Man Steve was one of the people carrying the coffin.
Wedding or funeral?
Did I say wedding? I meant funeral.
Just checking, because timeline-wise, he would have been at the wedding.
Yeah,
so
that
something
one.
a little horrifying to think about. So in I don't remember what movie it was. Maybe it was like Winter Soldier or something. Steve like makes out with Peggy's like would it be niece?
That was Civil War.
Niece
That
or
was
Civil War. So they make out basically, right?
Yep.
And that's the same Steve that goes back in time to be with Peggy.
Yep. He likes to keep.
I don't like where your mind's going there. I'm just gonna stop you right there.
I'm just saying that is the same Steve, so there's
Yeah, that's in the parody thing too.
Yeah.
it's like look at your new niece, Sharon Carter.
Oh, this is awkward. Let me. Oh,
I just remember the parody on it. She's like, "Couldn't you just kiss her?" And he's like, "Nope, never."
No. But yeah, we get that ending followed by one final entry in Phase 3, an epilogue, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
It was a fun movie, all things considered.
Was definitely not bad. Poor Bella hasn't seen it, so she's like, yeah, about that.
It's like, I can't contribute.
So, you have Peter dealing with the loss of Tony Stark and realizing, like, who's going to be the next Iron Man, and everyone's looking to him. Like, him, Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, because at this time, not everyone knows who Peter is.
Yeah.
And we get Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, which
he was a fun little villain.
I liked him. Wasn't a big fan of the drones. I was kind of hoping, Mysterio would actually be, Mystic.
Mysterio.
But using tech, in that way, I thought it was really good. Again, this all goes back to all of Tony's villains having some sort of grudge against Tony. All of Tom Holland's movie villains have had grudges against Tony, because we didn't touch on this, but Vulture worked with the what's it called? The disaster crew. To kind of clean up the mess after the Battle of New York. But Tony shut it down or something, putting everyone out of work. Kind of did the same thing with Jake Gyllenhaal's character and his crew. They were all part of a project, and Tony either bought it out and put them out of work or something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time, so I don't really know the details.
It was something like that.
But the whole time, Peter is fighting the loss of Tony, saying everywhere he goes, he sees Tony. And at one point, he fucks up royally, and Happy saves him And Happy's like, calm down. No, I can't calm down. I messed up. I screwed up. This is all my fault. My friends are going to die and I can't do anything. The world's looking for a new Iron Man. And they think it's me and I can't do this. And it's like Happy's like, Tony made a lot of mistakes in his life, but the one mistake he never made, like, was you.
Yep.
And I thought the movie was really good. MJ finally discovers that Peter is Spider-Man. And
Only to forget it.
huh?
Only to immediately forget it.
Yeah. You know, much like Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's kind of hard to follow Endgame. And unfortunately, that's what Far From Home did. But it was really good. Like the action, everything.
No, it's great. Still, one of my favorites that they've done.
But
With the,
I like this movie, but like we were saying, it came out at a time where it's like we're still very close to end.
we are literally 2 months after the biggest Marvel movie
Yeah,
in existence.
it was a cool down movie for the cool down movie. You know, like
Yeah.
whether we want it to be or not.
Oh, we got a cool down because we went a whole year and a half without a Marvel movie. Because after that was 2020, nothing came out then, and then Black Widow came out in 2021.
I mean, you know, pandemic-y things. You kind of
Which-
Something might have happened in between, you know.
Which, you know, was a blessing because you had that cooldown after all that before the
Yeah.
next phase starts. Wait,
because I can't imagine with the reception that it got after, as far after Endgame that it came out, how badly people would have received Black Widow if it had come out when it was supposed to, so
Yeah.
soon after Endgame.
Black Widow suffered due to the pandemic. They should have released Black Widow earlier. They should have.
that should have been a Ultron era movie. Just being honest.
No, that should have no, because the movie was a sequel to Civil War.
Yeah, you know what I meant. They should
The
have gave her a
fact
movie
that Black
then.
Widow should have gotten a movie around Age of Ultron, yes, because we need to see Budapest. And also, brief recap: the DC shows were a thing. They were pretty good. Good cast. Yeah.
Stop yelling at me. Come here.
So yeah, that's all of Phase 3. So I feel bad we're not getting. I feel bad we're not giving Spider-Man: Far From Home enough love, but
Hey, it gets the love. It brought old J. Jonah Jameson back into the MCU.
it did. And the biggest just.
The fact that they were able to keep that casting the same, like a lot of people were like, okay, but I was like, no, that worked.
My lord. You heathen!
What's the cat doing?
She's chewing on my computer charger cord. Stop
Yeah.
yelling at me. Oh,
Yeah,
It's a menace.
yell at.
But
Absolute
I will say Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal had fantastic chemistry together.
They did.
They bounced
I
off of
enjoyed
each
it.
other really well. And Bella, don't worry, we'll have a movie night. We'll watch all 3 Spider-Man movies.
Yay, movie night.
back to back to back to back to back.
I mean, we're gonna go from Homecoming to Far From Home to No Way Home. Holy shit!
Oh man.
Spider-Man.
We really got 2 of the most epic Marvel movies back to back. Essentially, wow, what a time, right? But
Say hi to Uncle Fluffy.
kidding. But yeah, that 3.5 hours later.
Dakota, I am so sorry we've kept you up.
I didn't think this would go this long. I thought all the
Well,
other
yeah,
movies
we-
would be a breeze, and then once we got to Infinity War and Endgame, that would be the bulk of the conversation. No, each movie,
Well, you got to remember.
understandably, got a decent amount of conversation in, which, you know, yeah.
I was like, you got to remember, Phase 3 is as big as Phase 1 and 2 combined.
No, it's no,
It's not-
no, it's that it's Phases one and two were 12 movies total. Phase 3 was 11 movies.
Oh, close.
So pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, that was phase 3. Do y'all have a brief thought on how phase 3 was and like how it from Civil War to Far From Home?
It felt like it was fucking nonstop. Like, there were brief moments of like, okay, this wasn't as big as I was expecting it, but the ones that stand out and come to mind immediately, it just feels like it was one right after the other, just like, holy shit, so much is going on.
I'd say this was my favorite stretch of movies. Like, I know it's like easy to say that since like
it's the latest one to come out at this point, but
yeah. Like even the smaller movies in phase 3, I liked a lot. Yeah, just a very great set of movies to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree, Tony. My favorite set that they've done. Nate and I have had this discussion a lot over the years because it's been a couple years now since we've gotten through with that. I was like, I don't know how they top it, and I myself was at Marvel fatigue after Endgame. I was like,
Yes.
there's not a story to tell after that. There's been a couple in Phase 4 and so on, but Ant-Man's got me hyped, so I'll see what happens next week.
I mean, like I said, this was probably the most consistent lineup of movies in terms of movies that I actively enjoyed. Obviously there's a lot of misses in there as well, but overall, I really enjoyed this phase. But the big question is, do you think the buildup from Iron Man in 2008 to Endgame in 2019, was it worth the wait?
Oh, absolutely.
Seeing from hearing Nick Fury, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, to we're in the end game now. Like, that consistent storytelling that so many movie studios has tried to copy and failed, that Marvel Studios just consistently has kept doing right. Like, peak Marvel 100%, decade of time. I can understand the Marvel fatigue because Phase 4 was a lot of misses. But
it wasn't even that. It was just like,
I've liked it.
And obviously, we'll talk about Phase 4 at a later date, probably next month, knowing me.
This is fine.
But I know Phase 5 is where it's really supposed to start building and connecting, because everything in Phase 4 has been completely disconnected, which is fine.
Yeah.
I read where Phase 4 is about dealing with grief and trying to move on from what was lost. And with that particular tone and vibe, they don't necessarily have to connect in the way the previous phases have. I think having them be individual films works for that particular story, like tone of like story of dealing with grief. I think it worked, but I'm ready to see where the connection comes from. I'm ready to see, Quantumania. I'm ready to see Thunderbolts. I'm ready to see the new Captain America. I'm ready for Fantastic Four, Kang. I'm ready to see what comes next. But yeah, definitely my longest podcast. But I like to think it went really well. I don't think I'm going to finish the stream tonight. I'm just going to end it at the podcast.
This is the end of the stream. Goodbye.
But guys, thank you all so much for agreeing to be a part of this. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I sure as hell loved having you guys here, as always. And Bear, thank you for hanging out in the chat and contributing to the conversation. First off, I miss you, buddy. I can't wait to see you back streaming.
Wait, you're a streamer? What? You're a streamer? No, you didn't tell me he was a streamer.
At Thobby. Ant-Man has me terrified. I'm terrified too, but at the same time, I can't wait.
Have to give old Bear a follow then.
Yes, please do. If you're not following, Bear is one of the most genuinely just kindest souls I've ever met on Twitch. Just
guess what I'm doing then.
Nate, I swear you need to fix that mic.
Why? What'd I do?
It keeps cutting out.
It's probably because I keep leaning back.
This ain't the wrong
Bear.
Lean back.
Bear has now been followed.
Yay.
Yes.
But yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap this jut up?
An amazing set of movies and a great conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Not to be a broken record, but how do you guys shut the fuck up. How do you guys feel about maybe phase 4?
Run it back, boys. Girls, run it back.
But
now, y'all.
These are a blast, man.
And one thing that I never do at the end of my Codpast, but I caught myself tonight and I'm very proud of myself. Dakota and Tony, please tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing on your own channels.
You want to
Because you guys are kind enough to take the time out of your night when you have to work the next day.
Yeah,
and I'm keeping you guys up so late because I'm a bad host. You take the time to come hang out and just talk. I feel it's only right that I give you the opportunity to kind of shill your own product, your own channel, your self promo. So please,
self promo.
Yes.
Show out.
So, what kind of games are y'all streaming, and where can people find you, and what is your schedule?
Ooh. Well, I'm Big Ape 93. For those of you that didn't know, if I start knowing you, or if you don't know me, you just call me Dakota because everyone just calls me by my real name now.
That's 100% my fault. My bad.
But yeah, no, I do a little bit of variety work here and there. Stream when I can. Currently going through Ocarina, Dead Space, the remake. Well, that most people know that's the Ocarina.
You have to make sure. I see a kitty.
There's a kitty up there. I'm trying to think what else I'm going through. Walking Dead Season 1, that's been going on. You can catch Nate and I some Saturdays on our fun little podcast too. That's a blast.
This is mainly just us vibing, hanging out.
Yeah, and that's about it. Probably start up Jedi Fallen Order soon to get ready for Survivor.
Yes.
RE4.
Good.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Gonna plan out I know Nate knows this. My actual 1 year on Twitch is Saturday, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything for that. But I'm going to plan out something soon.
That's the reason I haven't said anything. He doesn't really have anything planned yet. Otherwise, I would have said something.
That's fair. Congratulations, anyway.
Yeah,
what? What, Nate? You're cutting out again.
I was afraid Bella was going to get mad at me for not telling her about the 1 year, but I was like, he hasn't got anything planned yet, so...
We'll figure something out, but
I told you what you need to do. I told you what you need to do.
I know. And I owe you all Elden Ring at some point, so that'll get added to the schedule.
Oh no.
Tony.
Hi, I'm Tony, aka Hydroxide Ant, and I do a weekly podcast on Saturdays called Background Noise that I've been doing for over 9 years now. Help me. Um, I play games like Valorant, we play Rust, we play Minecraft, we do one day redeems, which has led us to play games like Faster Than Light recently, which I really liked FTL. I didn't know if I'd like that game as much, but I really enjoy it. I played Octodad recently because of a redeem. Just so many different games we play. But yeah, you can catch me twitch.tv/Hydroxant, of course. And, always just want to love you all and have fun. And that's really about it for me.
Sounds good.
I wouldn't get stuck to you if you didn't start.
And Bear, let me explain where Codpast came from. So I was in a voice chat talking to Bella and I believe Shrix as well. I think we were all just trying to talk about, I want to do a podcast, but I don't know what to do. And my mind does this thing where I'll be talking faster, like I'll be thinking faster than I can talk or something like that, and I'll get words twisted. Well, we were talking, and instead of saying podcast, I said Codpast. Swept the letters around, and I just kept talking like nothing happened because I thought I said podcast. And they're like, wait. What did you just say?
We gave him shit.
Podcast? No, you didn't. You said Codpast. Did I? And then we were like, wait. Hear me out here. Hear me out here. Chaotic Codpast. And it stuck. So, yeah, that's the Chaotic Codpast. So, guys, thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out. I appreciate y'all taking the time to just come vibe, listen to the conversation, listen to me name the wrong actresses in a movie, even though I know who the fuck I'm talking about.
It's always a blast.
I didn't expect this to go as long as it did. I was fully expecting this to go for like maybe 2 hours. And then I'll do some Pokemon Shield, but that's not happening anymore, so we might do Pokemon tomorrow night.
Thank you for staying up late with us, Tony.
Yes.
I don't know where you are, but Dakota, it is pushing midnight for you.
Yeah, I'm East Coast as well, so it is pushing.
Would say I'll never let you go through. But we are going to temporarily back out over here. Where's my mouse? My mouse disappeared. My mouse disappeared.
Oh no, not the mouse.
There it goes.
You need to stop being a menace.
There it goes. But we're going to kind of switch over real quick, and I will kind of tell them bye in a little bit. So give me just a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Wrong one. There we go. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you had the biggest blast, because I sure as hell did. I love talking about all things Marvel. Don't know what the next podcast will be. but I got a few ideas. Wait, someone's playing Octopath Traveler 2, excuse me? But yeah. Like I said, since tonight went longer, I will not be continuing, it's almost, yeah, whatever. I gotta tune into the next episode. Thank you so much for being for hanging out, buddy. We're definitely gonna have you on one of these days if you are so inclined, if you're able. That'd be great. But let's send some love to... Where are we going? I don't think I rated our good friend this week. And if I did, oh well. I don't think I did. Let's go say hi to Prez. Did I rate Prez? I don't think so. We're gonna go rate Prez. Wait, hold on. I see someone I haven't rated before. This is so exciting. I have not rated her before, so we're gonna go say hi to Rage Jazzy, who is currently playing through some Horizon Forbidden West, one of my favorite games. So go show her all the love on the planet. Y'all have a fan-freaking-tastic rest of your night, and I will see you lovely folks next time in the Chaotic Sanctuary. My brain was going somewhere with that, but I just lost it, but whatever. Y'all have a good night. I'll catch you guys there. Later, guys.